Flag Day today.
It
Pardon?
is Flag Day.
Yeah.
Flags are out.
It's my anniversary and it's always been on. Yeah.
Oh, happy anniversary.
There you
Can I move down
You
there?
can do whatever you
Whatever you
want.
want, man.
Facing back.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we can,
We can move down
Jim
if
can
you
come
want to come
closer.
around or.
Ron's somewhere on the corner.
We're doing like we did in the old.
Just get to the end.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yep.
That would be good.
Yeah, you don't have to turn around.
It's like old school.
Otherwise,
Back in the good old days.
All right, everybody's situated. First thing on their agenda is approval of the minutes and the bills. Questions on any? If not, somebody make a motion to approve. Additions, corrections to the minutes at all?
I had one question on gas bills. Are we on budget? Can you check into that, Ashley, that we have a monthly gas bill now? I don't think we should, like the concession stand. I don't know if we have gas, water heater down there or not. So just was curious if we were on budget on those buildings.
I think it's by usage in it. And then there's always that $12 charge per meter. If it's commercial, it's $6.
Yeah, and the concession stand is $77 last month. So I'm like, I don't think we're using that much hot water. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Just, I don't know if we're on budget for those buildings. It might be set up that way. So I just was wondering if you could check into that.
Will do.
Thank you.
All right.
I do have a question about the expenditures. But I don't know if you want to do that now or just get the bills approved and
We can just approve those and get,
I'll move to approve the minutes and the bills.
Second.
Someone second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Sheriff's report.
Kyle emailed me. They had 71 patrol hours for May. That's about it.
I was just gonna say, he stopped and talked to me along with a new officer. And I believe, have you met him?
No.
I believe he's from town or
He's out
somewhere.
here. Oh, geez.
Was it Landon?
Landon
Landon
Davis.
Davis.
Nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
And,
So yes, I have met him.
that's exciting.
With Kyle.
I appreciate, I had to call about something over the weekend. I appreciated his follow-up and his follow-through. And he just kind of wanted me to tell people, stop thinking, because he asked me, he's like, well, why didn't you call that in? I said, well, God, you guys are busy. There's bigger fish to fry. And he's like, no, that is my job. If something is awry or something is goofy or something doesn't seem right, call it in. And he's like, that's our job. So I appreciated him stopping and having a conversation with me about the situation. And it just seems like he follows through quite a bit. So just another, they're doing a good job kind of thing.
Yeah, Landon went to Mapleton for a short stint, like
Did he?
4 weeks, 5 at the most. And when I see he was hired over there, I said to myself, boy, he'd be a good deputy, and seen him out to the memorial service. And I go, going to the deputy already, huh? He says, you'll do good.
Yeah,
He's a very likable guy.
yeah.
He's on
So-
our fire department.
He's on the
too.
fire department.
Well, he was like, don't you know who I am? And I'm like, oh,
He's also a paramedic.
Yep.
is he really?
Yep.
What a great person to have in that capacity. So
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just very impressed by them and I really appreciate them. So
Was he 3 minutes out of town?
Yeah.
that's good.
So I had a citizen tell me Sunday that they were in our log dump and there was a brown, some kind of an old round pickup that come flying down the road with a whole load of tires, seen him, slammed on his brakes, turned around and went out. And so he did contact the sheriff's department over that to just kind of tell them to keep an eye out for that
Yeah.
pickup, or that vehicle. So if anybody else sees anything like that, down there, it's been pretty good, been pretty clean.
Yeah.
I've seen, so I don't want to
Keep it that way.
ruin it.
Other than we do get out of towners.
Yeah, no, right, I know. We can't burn anything yet, probably it's too dry.
Yeah.
No, I think moving with the sheriff's department, we got adequate better than adequate service. They're in town yesterday, seen them twice, I believe, and it's all good.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
All right, anything else under sheriff's report? If not, we can move on to fire department.
Phil got me the report there. April's and May, because he didn't submit it to us.
April's, there was 6 medical, 1 vehicle accident, 1 grass fire, 1 tractor fire, 1 structure fire. Totals in May, 6 medical calls. That's a pretty good month for the guys.
And
All
it
right.
shows the Red Cross blood drive is Tuesday, June 29th, 12:30 to 5:30.
And I think
Sure we
you
have.
got to pre-register. Correct?
Last time you had to pre-register, but they also took walk-ins last time, but you can pre-register online. for that.
Okay,
Anyway,
All right. Street update. Anything from Brian?
He
No?
did not give me anything to update, besides the zoning permit. You want to do those under there if you want to wait, that's up to you.
I guess we could do the building permits now. There's got to be a number of them there this time.
Oh.
So, all in total,
Ooh,
we got additional stuff.
7.
I think there's 4 of them. isn't there?
7, 8, there's 8 total.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I don't think I have the additionals from tonight.
You
Look like they're all okay.
have the new ones, Sarah, and then you have ones online.
Okay,
So I think you have them printed out. Underneath your notebook.
I don't know. You can't take me anywhere, actually.
That's right.
I don't, or are they with the, this? No, they're not.
No,
That's where Jim's looking.
I was just looking. I don't have
I
the,
looked at them all online. I just didn't see the additional two.
Yeah, I see them online.
got 7 of them on that.
We got 7.
I'll just look at these with you.
Am I missing 8?
So
I got 8 or 9 and 10 here.
Sarah, I think the one that's missing online is. let's see. So.
Brian, looking over these then,
Yes.
no signature on some of them. That's a,
Well, there's initials, DB.
His initials are on them.
Yeah, right there. Like we took ours to him.
oh,
Just put that
this
gravel
one
in.
here, I didn't see nothing.
No, there's nothing on that one.
Oh,
Yeah, he said that they were good to go, but he didn't sign that one. If it's that 21-3.
I think so.
so do we have, was it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
10, 11,
10, 11? Any questions on
Tis
any
the
of them?
season.
or 10. I'm sorry, you're right. You're right.
They all look good to me. I'll abstain from the one.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
So move.
Someone a second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carried.
I'm gonna stay because I'm on one of them.
Oh, that's right. Jim
I
is
am
and
too.
Sarah. All right. Well, they still passed.
Okay.
Motion carried.
Yeah, I see.
And gravel.
I'm waiting for her to second it. I see now. I understand.
Why aren't you doing it?
All except the one we're on. How's that?
I guess something under street update will be meeting 3 individuals on Thursday night or
Yes.
Thursday afternoon.
Third.
4:15, 4:30 and 5,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes, interviews. Yes, Thursday, the 17th, 3:30, 4:15, and 5 o'clock.
I have that. I just don't think I have the time.
And that individual that we had hired, he went through, did we have any more than the 3 that he's?
He reached out to the past people, but those are the 3 that had all the, filled out all their paperwork like they were supposed to.
All right. Anything else under streets? Anybody?
I got a estimate for the city park bathroom roof. What came in, because it is bad, it needs to be replaced. So Hain Brothers, I just had them come out and give you an estimate quick for it, if you want to do it.
So up here?
Yep.
Geez, I haven't looked at that for a while.
It's,
They're organic and they're all curled.
Yeah.
and there used to be mesh underneath it, so animals couldn't get in there and all the like mesh or whatever is ripped out.
Yeah, it needs soffit put on it.
I didn't see that. Where'd that go?
It was in the new pile for tonight.
New pile.
That's the damn many piles. I can see.
Yep, that's it. I suppose they won't know till they get into it, what's gonna be underneath there.
Yeah.
Should be okay, but.
That was Hein again?
Yep.
Same thing. Let's make a couple phone calls.
The people that didn't want to do the other job.
Yep.
Right.
Who are we calling? The same people that said no? I'm just asking.
No, we have an individual who owns property in town, and owns a lumber yard, who would like to sell the shingles.
Okay.
So if there's a way, we'd like to include,
At least call him and let him know what.
at least ask if this contractor would utilize them, and then he can say.
Right.
Are we gonna base our contract or who we choose as a contractor as to where they're gonna get their materials?
We can't do
Well,
That's what I'm asking, you know what I mean?
we did search out carpenters local first,
Yeah,
and we kind of omitted this person, that provided some of the,
I think he'll see in the minutes that there's a project out for bid. If he suggests it to someone and they come in a low bid, that's the way they can get around. Because you'll see with Kennedy's letter here, we can't do what we're talking about right now. But we can,
we can before the fact.
yeah, before the fact, but we can
Right.
suggest if he's got someone that wants to bid it and they want to buy materials from him, they can do that. But they still have to come in as low bid or whatever.
Right. No, but we can still ask if they can
Yeah.
utilize the local people
Right.
in their bid. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
And then
The sewer project's done, right? And the tiling project, those are.
the storm sewer is completed and the sewer is all completed also. Yep. Everything is done, right?
Yes.
Wonder if he's.
Seating, or what we gotta do it, we gotta do a reclamation there.
I think they were gonna hydro seed it the other day, did they, or did they?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It got dissed. I think Pongratz might have done that himself. He had a disc on the back of his little tractor anyway, but
Oh, yeah.
it's all smooth today. No chunks laying out in the field. So-
Because he's gonna plant that CRP himself, right?
Right, but I mean, it's dissed anyway. So I mean, if he did it or something, or the contractor did, one or the other, but
Just so it's
smooth.
completed,
Right.
that's all I worry about. I understand that the pipe that we were concerned running water into that was plugged up.
That was, yeah, it was full of dirt.
So I mean, it wasn't really running any water into it.
It didn't look like.
Wasn't the report last fall when we televised it that there was a lot of fresh water running in it?
That was the report.
And it wasn't, sounds like, was it a break where somebody tapped it in or was it the pressure from the ground pushing?
It smashed the sewer pipe.
Yeah.
The pressure, yeah.
Okay,
That's the way I understood it, yeah.
so it could have been just.
And there could have been some water there if it was a real
Yeah.
wet, but
But right now, we didn't do nothing. It's,
no, it wasn't connected to the sewer line.
so it wasn't a big culprit.
Right, that's my
The I
point.
and I.
It wasn't a big culprit.
and did they take the old pipe out of the ground? Was that in the bid to remove it or did they just lay it alongside of it? I never was down there, so I don't know.
Very little come out.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't down there every
They
day.
took the structures out, replaced structures, but they did not remove the tile though, right?
No, not, other than what they had to, yeah.
And then with that same bid, they're gonna line that line behind those 3, 4 houses, right? Is that the same, is that in this bid? Or is that gonna be a separate cost now when we get that line?
That's Empire had a separate price.
That would be a separate bid, I'm pretty sure. I'm not
But
positive.
it hasn't been lined yet, right?
I don't think so, no.
So,
The Empire was gonna do that and they wanted to wait till it was dry. Now it's been dry for a month. They could have been in there probably.
and again, do we let this go until we get somebody on board? Or does we have to appoint somebody here to get a hold of Empire and put it on the books, you know?
I mean, maybe Ashley can call Empire and, because the project's all laid out. It's just to try to get on their schedule, right?
You have to look at the bid and how it was all laid out, yeah, and if it's part of the project, we should get it done too.
Right.
Because if it didn't get done right away, do we still the contractor the major amount from what he did, or do you hold some until we get Empire out and get it done?
I think they have it as two separate projects, though.
I don't think that's, yeah, I think you're
It's-
right.
Okay,
Two separate, because they had one price to do the entire thing as a new project, and then we broke it in two to do this project and this lining as a
Lining.
separate project.
because it was underneath the property lines, eve or whatever,
It's under a
Lean to.
building, it's under a building, yeah.
under a building, yep.
So I guess we could ask Ashley to make that call to Empire, and they can probably help us out.
Mhm.
They know what they're doing.
Did you, Brian gave you all those contacts
Yep.
that he had us for everybody?
They're in the area too.
And
I've seen their trucks in
From
there.
Mankato or something.
I made copies and I think you guys had them all at one time, but I have the originals here.
Yeah.
I think one of the main guys lives right outside of town. One of the main guys lives like a few miles outside of town, I think.
Is he done then working? I mean, it's been really sparse on time and not here. And I mean, is Brian done then, or has he given any notice?
He gave us notice 2 months ago.
I get that, but I mean.
So, but I mean, do we just, are we getting enough from him to have him go there, or should we just relieve him of his duties and carry on like we have been for the last couple of weeks? You know, what the lawyer said tonight, is it right for Jim Prom to go down and do some of this work? Well, this is a small town and people have volunteered their whole lives,
Right.
you know. I wanted to ask him, but we ran out of time. I have 2 helpers that are not too busy right now, where we got these curves that need to be painted. I would like to take them and have them chop the dirt off the top, get them all cleaned up. So when we get somebody, all you gotta do is paint and get it done before we have our celebration, our
Maybe we can have her check with Chris on that, but I'm of the thought that he's not really doing anything. Not to my horn, but I've done more in the last 2 weeks than he has
Yep.
as a volunteer.
So I mean, would it make it easier on Brian thinking that he doesn't have to come here? He can take on his personal life and go get it done and be done.
I think it might, because he's been working on the house, trying to get all that stuff done and painting and.
I don't think he plans on having much longer here anyways.
No, I don't think so either. And maybe it'll just make it easier for me. Don't have to make that decision. Well, I should go work a couple hours, but I can't, and should it just be done? And like I said, a month or 2 ago, Kent Geese said he would help out. So would we get Kent to take over and?
I think we have to post it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I asked Kennedy about that. You can appoint a temporary person to the job.
Really?
Same as like you guys did with me. You temporarily appointed me and then I was
Sure.
interim and then I
Uh,
went long on. So you can temporarily appoint somebody to the job.
All right.
Now,
Let's do
if
it.
that person wants the job is a whole nother.
We also have to have a list of things we want done then too, because we're gonna have the same thing.
Right.
Somebody not doing anything but collecting a check then.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
he can do that.
sweeping the floor would be a big starter. Just saying.
I get it.
I mean, when I painted the curbs that time, I just used a weed whacker on the side
Yeah.
and weed whacked all along there.
But some of them are overgrown about that much
Are
now.
they?
They need a spade and just. and
Just
cut
chop it
back
in there.
And broom them, and they don't paint over the dirt and over the weeds, you know, so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some of that done,
Yes,
especially
it would.
around the area where we're gonna have the celebration. Would be
Do
good.
we need to make a motion and just give him notice that we're gonna just let him be done?
Why don't we just accept his resignation?
Yeah, make it official tonight.
Make it official. Yeah, if we want. to.
I'd make that motion. We accept his resignation official as of tonight.
Okay. Someone second that?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye, oppose. Motion carried. All right, anything else under streets? We got,
Yes, sidewalks,
pardon?
sidewalks.
You wanna appoint Ken then?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we can ask him.
I'm
Ian.
gonna ask him first. If
You know.
Well, you've
part-time.
already asked.
He asked, he said, yeah, I can help out. He says. I
Doesn't he have a job still? He has a job still.
He died?
Yeah,
He's retired.
he's not retired.
He has a job still.
He's around every day.
That's what he told you.
Yeah, he told me that like a month and a half ago that he says, yeah, I could fill in.
Okay, we better clarify
Yeah.
because
Well, we can appoint him and say that that's, we'll accept his help. And then if he doesn't want to do it, then we just got to find somebody else.
Or if you're employees that are not very busy right now, you want to temporarily appoint them for whatever, that's.
Well, I'm just gonna have them on a volunteer status. I pay them. But to get something done, because we're sitting here
We can, the city can pay
a
him
week with nothing getting done.
as long as we get it done. Yeah, the city can pay him. I have no problem with that.
you don't need to pay your employees to do city work.
No,
Well,
that's crazy.
but then again, then do you have to post it?
No,
Is it
she just said we can.
legal? Well,
appoint
that's
him.
right.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we can do that for now and we could still post for, whatever, but
All right, well then, when Chris explained that, we aren't supposed to really be doing a lot of this volunteer stuff, but Jim put together the bleachers and it needs crushed rock put under them, and we got the wrong gravel down there now, but anyway, we need to get some crushed rock under them so we can get our bleachers, so there will be some more volunteer work happening. It's just that simple.
and I think he just said that, just so we know that.
Yeah.
But, I think the concern is if we got hurt or if somebody else got hurt in that process, who
But
would
we
be
do have
liable?
that volunteer
We do.
insurance that covers anybody.
Yep.
If they're trimming a tree, they're covered.
Yep.
So,
Maybe we should check with M&M and see how that's worded and stuff.
I mean, when there's been storms, I've helped pick up branches or,
Yeah.
Yep.
we just do it.
I mean, there's a lot of times it could happen to the city. I mean, I got trees in my boulevard that belong to the city that if I were trimming them and got hurt, I suppose I could
I know.
go after the city.
but we've found out over the many years, Tom, if they don't want them trimmed, their trees, and if
Well,
they
they
break
want 'em
off and rot, they're the city's
They're the
trees.
Yeah.
Hey, that reminds me, so we planted that tree in the boulevard at our house years ago. Now Stacy's concerned it's gonna compromise the sidewalk. Can we get permission? It's a beautiful tree, but we're gonna have to take it down
Really?
so it doesn't wreck the sidewalk.
If it's live, it's yours. If it's dead, it's the city's, right? Is that how it works?
You cannot trim or remove any trees in city right of way without permission, and it's in the boulevard. It's where that little sidewalk is, and then our driveway is there. It's in that little patch, and it was supposed to be a slow growing. Yeah,
Can it be moved? Is it
Well,
too big that?
I think it's too big. And then I think the gas line is way down there, like in between not right there, but over. So Stacy just thinks we should cut it down.
Yep,
I know, we
guess
don't want to, but
they don't want to wreck the sidewalk. We've got
No.
plenty to repair. So,
exactly.
all right, then talking about sidewalks, we have these two bids. I got one from Mariano. And it's a little hard getting. His total bid here was for everything, and he even had in taking out the sidewalk. Well, then he says down here, if this, and we need to define, property owner buys the gravel. Is that right? To put underneath there? How does that work? He wanted to know.
It's just the cement that we.
Yeah.
We just buy the cement, right?
Yep.
Well, it's different. We have done a project and we were gonna continue to do city projects. And now we're talking back to doing cement.
Well,
Because we,
what project are we talking about? An extension of that same thing?
yes,
Well, yeah, all these that we had here back
What I'm
in,
saying is that our policy, like if I just want to make air in front of my house, the city will provide the cement.
right.
No, if we're talking about a large project added on like we did last year, that's a whole different bidding, whole different thing.
Yep. And that's what we got. People have bid Hauk and Sherman. We've got 3 phases bid right now by 3 different vendors.
I don't even have those, I guess. I didn't know that.
Because last month when we talked about it, we went back to the homeowner edition and that's not what we've been talking about. We've been talking about doing more of Hauk, the 100, 200 block and Sherman, whether it's part of it or all of it.
This is to do with the safety of the kids and whatnot, running around.
Well, it was, but we need sidewalks all over town. We just
I
gotta
realize
start
that.
giving back to the community somewhere.
It's kind of all down in that area yet.
Yeah.
yeah, it's all down by the church, especially
Yeah.
just on the west side of the church there in front of that house, that's in terrible, terrible shape.
Yeah.
And
If
then
we end up with the
Jim's,
school, we got safe passage to City Hall, that'll end
Whatever
up.
we end up doing there,
Yeah.
if we can do it.
So so you could replace sidewalk and we'll pay for concrete, but we're talking about a project, we're gonna do a block at a time or a couple of blocks. And then we assess a portion back to the homeowners. The city's picking up the bulk of it because it became more expensive than we thought it was gonna be.
and you know, he claims he don't want to put any sidewalks in without rebar. Well, nobody puts sidewalks in with rebar. In reality, I don't
Cities don't
think.
allow it anymore because it's too hard to remove.
Cape used rebar across the road.
Did he use it
Yeah.
today or
No,
whenever,
well, when he did the
that long block?
east side of Houck, he did.
So, and you know, trying to get it explained, if all you wanted him to do was labor, it'd be $13,000 worth of labor. And he even sounded like he would take it out. Yeah, the Bobcat, no. So here we have this estimate with removal 0. So I think we need to clarify, and I don't think it, unless these guys aren't busy, clarify again, what are you really gonna do?
But, and Jim Schmidt gave us one in last month's packet that was all inclusive, removal, the rock, the rebar, the concrete, everything except the final dirt work. And he was at $12 a foot. So none of them are apples to apples right now. They're all apples and oranges.
What was
Because
the
it's
grand
all-
total on that one?
I don't have it right here.
This one here is from October of last year,
Yeah,
this one.
yep. That was the first one we had for this.
And
spring.
chances
He did that for-
are
That's
that,
gonna change.
that bid isn't gonna stay there with the rebar,
No.
if they had rebar in it.
This time we want a definite bid, not when we get half done or all done and have to argue with the contractor. And it's
Right,
Who said what, when? We want to know what we're doing this time.
because I gave Jim the dimensions off of this one from Creative. So he bid the same exact dimensions as theirs. So they were square foot the same.
Everybody does their estimates so different, so it's hard to compare.
Right.
And
You
with that, sir, I think concurred that we really need to cement out that shed. We have shelving in there that's settled and it's all crooked and it just needs to be cemented so we can have some commercial pallet racking in there. So when you walk in there, you can find what you need. Because right now, I don't know where you would start.
Well, let's get a bid on that.
Yep.
A couple of bids on that.
I agree.
Well, let's try to get our concrete clarified for next month then and see if we
Yeah.
can still get done,
Yeah.
get something
Yeah.
done.
Because you're right, I don't think there's any big rush on it.
No.
If we could get it done by fall time, that would be really nice
Yeah.
in that shop.
And we were standing on Sherman today and actually the north side, that's actually turned off. The north side of Sherman from the new well site house, it'd be great to run that sidewalk all the way up past the elevator, and even thicken, of course, where the truck's gonna run over it, but
Yeah.
that'd be a great sidewalk to finish up that whole side of Sherman.
Absolutely, because it used to be there. It used to be the individual squared
Mhm.
and they're underneath the dirt and
Yeah.
the sod.
The other side's tougher because of the elevation
Yeah.
and all that.
And dipping that he's got that built up, it would be great to do that. And now that's the city's property.
Yeah.
As of
Yeah.
yesterday or the other day. So will we include that in there? Get it done?
Well, sure.
Because we have to put the gutter back in already.
Yeah.
The gutter that's
Right.
missing from the repairs, so would we just,
Yeah.
Might as well.
As far as with the house, did somebody come out and inspect that?
yeah,
Judd was here.
Judd was here today.
So he hasn't got any report yet then.
We have a report. Judd and I went through it today, so.
It's in our book.
It's not written. We did it today at 3:30. So,
That's what I mean.
yeah.
Do we want to do a sidewalk before we decide what we're going to actually do with that lot?
Well, there's. just
Seeing that you got the
bids.
wood,
There's
or the-
the bids.
right, but I mean,
I don't think you'd ever change the elevation of the lot, would you? You couldn't with the house being there, but
unless you shave down that
shave the hill down.
hill down, and that might affect the
Yeah.
sidewalk,
Mowing.
It'd be the only thing.
Those two trees are right there, though, so you probably wouldn't shave it too much,
They make them saws that go like this. and-
to make
I'm
it
good
just.
at moving dirt. How much? We got 300-400 loads there?
Okay, let's talk about concrete next month then.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on under streets? Will Ashley notify Brian then tomorrow?
Sure.
We should write him a letter,
Letter thanking him for his years
I
of
agree.
service and
thanking him, yeah.
good luck on your new venture and la-di-da.
Sarah, can you type that your personnel? Thanks, Jim.
I can.
You want me to do it?
Sure. Work on that.
Do you want me to call him or you're just gonna tell him in a letter form?
I guess I would.
Also, as
You
a
should
side
call
note,
him.
he messaged me tonight and asked if he was being fired tonight, so.
Being
because-
fired? No, we're
Because
just,
he heard from a rock guy that we might be letting him
A
go.
rock?
A rock gravel guy.
we're honoring his
On his request.
request.
I'm just telling you what the text said.
No, he's not being fired.
No, he just,
We're
you know,
accepting his resignation because we feel like
He's getting close to the end and he can finish up his business and
we
then.
can get things taken care of and not have to worry about it anymore.
yeah,
So then, do you want to write that letter and call him? Do you like from the personnel committee? Or how do you guys want to address that?
the keys
I don't-
would have to be turned in also and any property of the cities. So
Yeah, laptop.
I
and stuff.
guess, would we have to just meet with him tomorrow morning? The way it sounds, we can have a personnel meeting with anybody and,
I don't think he's here.
oh, he isn't
I
here?
think he's in Wisconsin.
So you have to wait till he's back in town, but yeah.
Maybe when he gets back, we'll just meet with him and thank him and have a letter and we'll put everybody's name on it and
Sure.
Put the laptop and keys in.
laptop keys.
City credit card.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else then under that? Street departments?
I just want to say thank you to Jim Prom for like putting the bleachers together and cleaning the concrete down there and
The banners look amazing.
putting the banners up.
Yep.
So,
I technically didn't do any of that stuff, so
yeah, it's okay.
where's
did.
Chris at?
And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the time you spent on that's kind of above and beyond. And in the past, we've paid city council members for doing so much work, so I don't know. I just think you deserve something, and I know you don't expect anything, but
Nope.
it's definitely appreciated.
Yes, just a thank you. With that, with the city shop there, could your chemicals clean the inside of that up? Or
Probably,
With
being that
all
it's,
the conduit,
yes.
The
We just have to
exterior.
turn the power off.
you can do it without waterproof conduit and then get
We
in?
just tape all electrical up, but yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
oh, that would be a job. There's a lot of conduit in that building.
Well, no, we just tape the electrical outlets.
Just tape the
Yes.
outlets.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Most lights don't
Like,
even are
holy-
affected.
But I
Can we
mean,
hire
first
him to
we'd
do that?
have to have an individual that could clean one end out.
What we need to do is clean out the cold side,
so we
pour
can
that
move everything.
concrete and move everything
Yeah.
to that.
I
side.
know, but that, I mean, if you hire a new employee right now and you walk into that shop and the walls are all dingy and the roof's all dingy and that, it's kind of like, wow, what did I get myself into?
Maybe we'll have to have some special meetings where we get paid $25 to work on cleaning that stuff out. You know what I mean? Or
Well, I say, you know,
we'll have to do that stuff before an employee gets hired possibly, you know? I don't know how we're gonna do it with all the stuff we got going on, but
or we just, warn the employee, by the way, it's kind of a show over there.
Well, first we gotta get an
I
employee.
know.
That's. one
But I
of the
think in the
hurdles.
future, we should probably, after we get the concrete poured, hire your company to clean that out. I don't think there's any other companies that we need to get bids from, because I don't think there's anybody that does that.
There isn't that much where you could take and put it all on the south half, clean the north half of the west side and all across the north side and then move it all over, but that's gonna take a lot of labor to move all that stuff.
or you can cover stuff, but it's just like tools should be moved. you
Yeah.
know, Moved and put away, because moisture, right? You have to tool out before and get all
Yeah.
rusted, so.
And with that, you do all that cleaning and you haven't got any good shelving, you still got a mess.
There's all kinds of shelving available all the times. We need to get that cleaned out, pour that concrete, get shelving out, get stuff put up. It's a process. We just gotta do
We
it.
just gotta do it.
All right.
Yep.
Enough for street department. Clerk treasurer update.
Yeah, let's start with resolutions. We had a parcel sell in town and it's divided into 3 now, so we just have to establish addresses for them. This is a copy of those. Robert, I'll have to have you sign those, but it's essentially will be 451 Sherman Street, 501 Sherman Street, and then the back half of that property will be 500 Chapel. It is the old Crystal Valley property. So it's split into 3 now, so we just need to establish addresses for them.
Is that
I mean, this here,
Mhm.
do we need resolution to do that, or is that,
Yep,
how we do it? Well, okay.
yep, last one we did, when we established for Red Iron, we did a resolution
Yeah,
for it.
all right.
so this is one property, this will be another property, and this here is another
Yep, here, I'll pull it up so you guys can see it all.
property.
In the back half, if it becomes anything else, could be subdivided into multiple properties, but just needs the address now.
So. Bear with me here. So there are now 3 separate properties, 1, 2, 3. So this would be 451 Sherman Street. 501 would stay, but it has been separated. So at 501 will go back to its 501 address. Right now, they just have parcel IDs. And then this one right here will be 500 Chapel.
And the other one is 501 Sherman.
501 Sherman, yep, which was the address before for the whole parcel. So that one's address will technically stay the same, but how Blue Earth County has it right now, they're just parcel IDs. They don't have addresses. So we just need to establish those.
So, okay. Somebody want to make a motion then to approve resolution 2102, 03, and 04?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
I'll abstain because I own something.
Okay, that's right.
I don't know if I have
Motion
to.
still carried, passed. Anything else in, Ashley?
Is this part of yours or is that?
That just came today.
Okay.
For the 150th, wanted, I think it's news. I guess I didn't even fully read over it. Wanted to know about advertisement, media advertisement.
You know how much it costs? I don't really see a,
See anything?
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, he didn't really say what it was. I can definitely get more information, but it just showed up in my email today, so I just wanted to pop it in there as a chew on it and.
Well, we'll be, when are we meeting again for that?
Next Monday,
Okay.
I think.
Maybe we could call a couple radio stations and just see what they charge.
I think the best use now is your social media advertising where you can target.
Well, yeah, and she's
Area.
putting everything on there and I'm sharing everything,
We're
but
sharing everything too, but we
you talk about that target thing.
we need to market and target people in our 60-mile area. It'll end up right on their social media all the time
Okay.
instead of a radio ad that you might not hear.
I think you can like send like press releases out to radio stations, newspapers, and they may or may not print it out, but
Okay.
KYC always does like a,
is Good Thunder the only one having a parade this summer? Is Mapleton or?
Fun Days is back.
Who's this?
Fun Days in North Mankato. is the big-
Yeah, that's back, yeah.
Minnesota Lake is still doing theirs.
Maple,
Vernon Center.
their
Vernon's,
celebration, I don't know about a parade, but I
I
mean,
thought I saw something that Mapleton.
Mapleton is?
something in
yeah, Janesville's doing theirs, Elysian's doing theirs. They're all over again.
So that's why we couldn't find any type of carnival or anything because everybody was back on board.
Yeah.
Which we're okay with, but
trying to do a bunch of free stuff that doesn't cost the parents anything.
There's gonna be a lot of fun things for the kids to do that will be at no cost to the parents, so.
That'd be a good thing.
The Good Thunder Days Committee is really ponying up a lot of money to do stuff, and then there's other businesses that have ponying up money to pay for stuff, so.
Yeah, the fire department, I guess that could have been under the fire department, but the fire department donated $1,000 to the event to go towards something for the kids. So there is candy bar bingo and sign painting with the signery. So that will go towards that. That way the kids can do that stuff, no cost to the parents, no cost to the kids, and it'll be something fun that they can do down at Bell Tower Park, so.
and I'll start hitting donation people harder on Monday.
Yeah. The only other thing I had is, the banners that are up, Robert had mentioned possibly more banners, like so that cover the road out here and the couple coming into town. So for 15, we counted the poles, it would be 15 poles 15 more banners, and the brackets. I don't know if I made a copy for you guys. I might have.
Yeah, I
I
think
hope
I've
so.
seen it.
Okay. It's $3,000.
Yeah.
So that's just, kind of up to you guys if you guys want to do that and get more, or if you don't, that
I
was.
thought a few going out of town here and a couple coming in, but geez, we already put how much into what we got already?
$2,000.
$2,000, yeah.
2,000. So, yeah, I don't know if we should spend $5,000 on them. We probably have other things we can spend more money at. So,
Like say you couple going in out this way and then a couple coming in on 66 or on one.
well, that's what I thought, just to promote it, but you
Yeah.
can't, again, how much.
We could put up 10 more though, and then you put up all 15, because we counted,
They're,
there's like 8 poles out here.
yeah, they're
We had 10 up to this corner,
120 piece, Sarah.
and then there's
And then the
5.
brackets are.
But
each.
Like
it's,
4 more.
it's $3,000 more,
We
so.
don't have to get as many. We could just get a few more. Because they do look really nice, I think.
They're really nice.
And they last for 7 years too, so, and we can keep them up, and not just for this year, we can leave them up for 7 years and just kind of celebrate the.
They're warranted for 8, I think it says.
It's 7 or 8, but either way. And they're all on wood poles, so we won't need to use the metal banding device to put them up, so they'll go up really fast.
Well, I agree with Robert's feeling there. That's kind of expensive.
Yeah. I was just thinking we could get like 4 more, because they're like $100 a piece.
Yeah,
125.
I would be for that, I guess.
Just put 2 out there maybe, and then 2 coming in. I don't know,
They're $150 each, just so you know.
150? Oh, I thought you said 100.
Well, I mean.
But they're 120.
600 is far away from
Yeah, yeah.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're 120 each, and then the brackets are 85, but if they're on wood poles, we wouldn't need the brackets.
No, we still need. the
Oh, you
brackets.
still need the brackets. You wouldn't need
Brackets and the fiberglass and the pins.
Okay.
So you still would, so.
I'd go along with that, get 4 of them.
4 more?
I could tour them. I'll make a motion, we get 4 more.
I'll second it.
And
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Motion carried. All righty. Anything else?
Probably, but I don't think so.
Okay, next thing is community comment. We have some first time in a long time. Got community members here tonight.
Welcome
so,
back.
Yeah, welcome back. So I guess Dance and Stromers are both here. What do we need to do tonight?
Well, an update on my sewer, we ran it all the way over to Berg's and connected to where the clay tile started. So the Orangeburg's all gone now. And we made a horrible mess out of Tim's yard. We got most of that fixed back up. We need to repair his driveway. And I was wondering if the city would help out with that, buying the cement on that. And it's a burden for me that all across his driveway and his yard and at my expense.
Yeah,
And it's not something that really should have had happen.
Is that concrete or,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
I'd do the work if we could get the city to help out with the concrete. It's about a 22 by 25 area out through.
Did you you took that much out of it, or are you just gonna cut it off and make it good somewhere?
That's what the trench is
Oh, it is?
to make the cut and get it back to where it's decent again and be.
how many yards is that, Jim?
I don't know.
I thought that you were figuring.
I was just trying to take that.
It's 550 square feet. What do you multiply it? Is it like 2.73? Huh?
1 square feet is the yard.
81 is? Okay, divided by 81. My husband multiplies it by something, so about 7 yards. So, right?
So it'd
I
be-
divided that by 81.
It's 160 yard right now, or it was a couple weeks ago.
How much?
160? Isn't that what you paid a couple weeks ago?
128, I believe.
Was it?
So
Was
say
128?
130, so that would be 700, be almost be 900 something.
Mhm. 910.
what do you think? What do you think?
It's kind of a sad thing that sewers got put in like that. 80 years ago, maybe 90 years ago, that they're called private, you know? Because everybody else has the luxury of the city doing it, right?
Yeah, well, not everybody. There's more of them around.
I know that.
I
How
know, but
many?
The majority of the town.
I mean,
does.
do we have a half a dozen like that?
I would guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
Because, well, the line behind Sarah's house, that's not private though, right? That one that runs north behind.
Oh,
her
that's the
house.
main,
Where do you think the other ones are? You know,
right in this alley back here, going to these first 2, 3 houses.
oh yeah?
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think down to like Herbert's back in there.
Glenn?
Yep. And you're making me think back 30, 40 years here. Just,
Well, we got water shut offs, but didn't we?
Sewer is on the other map.
well, wouldn't even be on them probably, unless they
Yeah, they just went for the mains.
just went to the main lines. Because behind your house is the easement, right? Going through there?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's an easement behind Walters. That's
Because that's in behind them houses there
Yep.
too.
water and sewer.
Yep.
Yeah. So they are around. I mean, you're not alone.
Yeah, that still don't make it right.
No, there's more of them around. I mean, it's just, yep.
Is the sidewalk or the driveway out now, or is it just not yet?
Just what they uprooted when they did the sewer and then it cracked it down. So
I'm sure it did, yeah.
it's sunk pretty bad.
Is that a fair estimate? About $1,000 tops for concrete? If we do
You'd be
7?
doing your own, you'd be
You think?
pouring it yourself
Yeah.
or hired it done?
I'll do all the prep and get it ready and
Yeah.
Formed up.
Pulling it out too, the existing?
You guys compact that trench then when you built, did you compact the trench?
they did some, but it was cold.
Just saying, if you pour over an uncompacted trench, it's gonna hollow out underneath it, so.
Yeah, it settled a lot.
Okay.
We filled it back in and we've driven on it with loaded trailers and it didn't cut in anymore. So I think it's good now. We've had a couple of really good rainstorms.
Not for some time, of course.
Yeah. Does that take into account the thickness that it needs to be for a driveway?
So we're talking a little around less than 1,000,
Around 1,000.
on $1,000.
How, would it be 4 inches?
3.5.
3.5, 4, yeah. My feelings, my personal feelings are that you had because you were the guy on the end, you had to taken the burden on to get, so you had a working sewer, which entailed Tim to cross his property to get down to the next guy, and again, it's just sad that it got put in that way 85, 90 years ago, whenever it may be, but my feelings are, to show, what would you say, good citizen, now that ain't the word. I would just, my recommendation is I would help them out. That's my thought. Are we setting a precedence if it happened again?
Yeah, but
In that case, if it's in that situation where it's that privatized.
it's a situation by situation decision. It's not anything that we can relate to this really either, other than it would be a private sewer. Other than that,
Yeah,
it'd be a whole different deal,
yeah. As long as we just say that it's for private sewers.
Because you don't want somebody to say, well, I just replaced my driveway. Do you want to pay for the concrete for that?
Yeah,
So just worry about your perception, your precedents that you're setting. But
yeah.
I agree, this is a horrible situation. So.
I mean, you put up with that for probably over a year. Not a good running sewer.
The sewer ever since we moved in.
Yeah, for longer than that, so. That's just my thoughts. I don't know, you guys didn't express your views.
It is
Agree.
working good by now.
And we can set it up to an amount in case it goes over. I mean, or do we want to take care of it?
I would say up to that 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
If everybody's in,
Do that, then have them build it to the city,
The concrete.
the concrete,
yeah, you might as well just do it that way.
because we don't pay taxes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a concrete company?
Not that it means much, but it's,
Well, Mariano uses Yanko and they were $128 a month for, or $128 a yard for that approach, I believe, down there. And that was probably a month ago already, or
They're gonna be paid the day they're doing it though, so we have to make sure that Ashley's available to write a check that day, because that's how Yanko works, right?
yeah. Well, I think it's a city, but but yeah. So that would be how many years? That'd be one truckload then,
Is it?
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they could get that in one truckload. I guess you know what you do, you get it all prepped, you pick a day and let us know and we can get a check, because they do want a check.
Okay. Who is that? John Co? Is that?
Yanko,
Is where?
YOHNO,
And seal.
NCO, Yanko.
Do you know where they're at?
They got a plan on 68 out, I believe there, the old Middle Opla Road, something out there west of Mankato.
the landfill,
I think it is.
close to it, if not it, yeah.
Okay, we'll get it prepped and talk to you again then.
Yep,
It's approved, so just let us know when you're gonna pour it, and, if it's a Saturday or something, ask them what the total will be.
You guys need to do a motion thing or anything?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask, you want a motion?
Yes.
so enough discussion.
Be up to $1,000,
All right, you made that motion?
yes.
Someone second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose, motion carried.
I did have a quick question about the school too. Just as a couple of suggestions of possible uses. And we don't have a date yet, obviously, when that's even gonna be.
Fall of 2022, if we take it over.
Okay.
We're in the process of doing feasibility. We walked through it with some people. We just haven't compiled stuff yet, but
So I don't know if you guys are interested in nonprofit stuff, but we package food for starving kids. We would love to use part of that for that, if that's possible. And then also possibly a church, if there's a new church that was interested in using some of that. So just a couple of suggestions.
Yeah, we were down there, was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago already?
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago, I believe, and had 2 individuals, 3 people there, and they kind of done this for other areas that lost their school and see what the future looks like.
And congratulations on the red iron. That's really cool. I know it's been trouble, but it's very cool.
Yeah.
it's
Get that
fantastic.
carpenter back to work and get moving again.
Wants to stay home with somebody with a double earache tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Brett? Or Jay, anything?
We're just here to kind of listen
Okay.
to what
Sounds good.
more about the school stuff, if there was gonna be anything about that, the feedback and stuff that. So that's what we were kind of.
I think you've talked about once we get that feasibility thing done,
Yeah.
we might have a public
We're
hearing.
gonna have some multiple needs and
I thought I read the last time there was a little blurb in the paper that there was gonna be some maybe discussion about that tonight. So that's what I was just curious about. That's why I was here.
You can give them an update on the status of the school, how it's, when our walkthrough went, what you viewed, so.
well,
Well, if you're not ready to do that, that's fine.
I mean, we walked, all of us went through it.
Yeah.
Ron didn't make it, but otherwise,
I went 2 months before you did.
in reality, the school's been very well taken care of. But there may be some things down the line, what did that guy say the roof would cost, Tom? Was it 250?
250.
But I think the front half, that roof is better or not as old, maybe.
Yeah, he just was shooting from the hip, guys. I mean, this is why, he was just walking up on the roof going, I asked him straight out, what do you think about the roof? And he says, you're gonna spend 250 in 5 years or so. Just shooting from the hip. So maybe that could be put off, like you're saying,
I can't remember where they were from, but when I talked to, my husband has heard about them through, he's like, oh, they've done a lot of school revamping projects or whatever. And they know their stuff supposedly, from what I've heard in the construction world. So
and
it's,
there's some issues in the southwest corner of the building.
Yeah,
We showed that to them and and there was no opinion from these two. They were gonna get structural engineer in to look at that and make a recommendation and whatnot there, because as was explained, or as a comment was made to me, this is looking a little bit like the dam looked to the county. And they did wonderful things with it. They got a beautiful park. They did wonderful things, but what do they have today? They got a hell of a problem.
Yeah.
You just don't want that to be the same thing happen to the city.
yeah.
So we're looking at it closely, getting some professional opinions. And then after their opinions, we're going to get some professionally developed costs, before we move forward on it. Not move forward. I mean, it might be great. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. They might have a feasibility study, things going back into the building that could pay for all that. We don't know that, so.
If you could utilize 4 or 5 of those areas, and collect rent out of them, and you could get $1,000 a month, at least it would pay, the utilities for it. It wouldn't be just taking out and paying, Jim thinks that wouldn't be a problem. I don't know. I would hope that we could rent out 6 of them rooms for somebody, and make it a viable thing for the city. But again, yeah, it's taxpayers gonna pay for it, to keep it. Could we hold weddings in it like they do at Pemberton? I don't know why not. It's to me, it's in a beautiful kitchen in there.
Mhm.
We're going to look at it next week.
Yep, we're gonna go over to Pemberton and Darla's gonna.
'Cause I wanna see it.
Give us the lowdown on what's going on over there, what kind of everything.
You've talked about it for so long and I've never been there, so I want to go see it. Yeah.
So
The
we're gonna-
citizens are
anybody
giving
else?
us back a report, of the hundreds of people that turned something in, they were an overwhelming wanting to keep it for community center and whatnot. We just gotta make sure it makes
The only thing I'm
sense.
concerned about is the overall cost of it, because
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, our taxes are high enough now.
Yep.
And I think if we're gonna do it, we gotta make sure that it doesn't put another burden on the taxpayers, because, I mean, as you compare our tax against everybody else, and of course, I see our biggest problem is we're a smaller town, there's fewer people paying for everything.
Smaller
So it
tax
just
base.
costs more. But, and the thing is, I don't know, I don't know much about roofing or anything. But I don't know if $250,000 would go very far on a footprint building like that, but, it might be, and I just hate to go to work and to be honest with you, let the school board off the hook and take it over for them, so they can shed it, what they potentially budgeted to tear the thing down. And all that does is, they'll be glad to give it away at that point.
Yeah.
Because then they can go to work and write it off and they're done, and they save, they even, just say hypothetically, they go ahead and give all 3 buildings away for $1 a piece. And they had $800,000 budget to tear them down. All of a sudden now they got a free $799,997. And all they had to do was find 3 people that wanted to buy those buildings for $1. It seems kind of one-sided that way, especially if it's gonna be something that's gonna cost a lot of money to do something with and maintain.
And we want to make sure that that's not what it's going to be.
Right.
For sure.
That was a comment that was also made to me, that one of the things that if we were to take it, that it would be a stipulation that share of money for that building for tearing it down goes into escrow.
That's right. Absolutely.
And if we can't make it work in 5 years, it just gets knocked down. Goes away. It becomes
That's possible.
a bear lot that you can build a house
I
on.
think the principal told us that's not how that works. They,
No, you either get it for $1 or, they're not putting their hooks into, they're not taking any.
and he said the money would go back against the bond to pay principal down. They couldn't use it for something else either, but who knows?
This was a former school board member who was on when this was all originally made. That's what he said that they talked about, so.
Because I think I asked that question at one of the school board things as far as that goes, because I said, I says, instead of going to work and, go to work and help out the city or whatever,
Yeah.
it takes that over and give them what you planned on spending to tear it down. And they said, nah, it's not the way it works.
Yep.
So
No.
they're capping their losses by doing it that way. And then the city takes on all the liability or potential liability as far as.
That's the problem.
And I suppose, for them, that's the way that game goes. It's to their advantage if they can get somebody to take that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
We don't want to wrap it in either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, so it's
It's
like,
easy to, have somebody come in and say, I'll give you 10 grand for it.
yeah, and that's the other side of it too, because we certainly don't want that. I mean, I'd say that, if that's the situation, with the best case scenario is they tear it down and
That's sale.
and then we redevelop the project,
They're going that
redevelop the
website.
property
I
for
was wondering
something
why
else.
Exactly. Build a house, build a
And
house.
that's what,
I mean, you
A
got.
cul-de-sac in there, Yeah.
wondering if it was from that beacon.
Yeah, you could easily put six houses in
You could put
there.
a half a dozen houses in easy.
Yeah.
If you're worried about developing the town, I mean, they gives you 6 lots, and they can sell at a reasonable price for.
Yeah, it gives us more space to do something
I
with.
mean, it might work out. It'd be cheaper to give the lots away
Yeah.
than it would be to make the building viable. You don't know that. We'll find all that out,
My opinion on it is that you should pay your dollar and take a couple years, 3 years to figure out what you want to do. Because like Tom just said, I'm worried that Rapidan School is gonna happen here. You don't know what's gonna come in here.
I don't know what happened.
The one through Vernon, that went through about 3 sales, I believe, or two or three sales. Well, now I think it's probably struck home. It's done now.
GMS owns it.
Yeah,
now.
GMS has got it. Ashley was gonna see if the transaction's on there and see, but I mean, even if you ran that for 2 or 3 years and it costs you $30,000 a year, that's 90. I would think if the city owned that, could you get $200,000 for it?
Oh, I think so.
You know,
So there's warehouse space.
so
Because they're development, they talked about that with those engineers the other day. They said warehouse space. I mean, people would come out here because it'd be so much cheaper than in Mankato if we were, even if it's just all warehouse space.
Can you
And we
help-
had, someone I talked to wanted to rent the entire place to store stuff in. Well, we want to have community center, possible city hall, maybe Main Street businesses,
It was a reputable person, not just like junk to be stored in there. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
company that wanted.
Yeah,
to
big
use it
companies that
with a
need
living-
warehouse space that would have it full and they'd pay rent on it all. And I even, when we were in that shop class down there, I thought, man, I'd like to open that shop class, open, pour my trucks in there. Instead of building another building, I'd like to rent that shop class, put some overhead doors on and drive in there.
The library.
the library.
Is it the library?
It's the
It
library.
Was it a shop
It was
class?
a shop originally. They turned it into a library now. so.
What happened in Rapidan?
Someone,
It's just a crap.
someone lives in there. It's like
Okay.
a person lives in.
I
there.
thought something new had happened
No.
or
No,
just
it's
a
just,
person lives
it is
in
what
the
you
school.
see right now. It never,
It's just-
It's
never
actually
went any
currently listed
farther.
right now.
I can
Okay.
only wonder what it must be like inside with the roof leak.
If the roof is.
Yeah, they tore off the roof and then destroyed the gym floor. Because we had seen plans, they were gonna build all kinds of apartments and they had big plans for it, nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
It's for sale right now for like $260,000.
And it does take a lot of consideration for some taking over something like that. Like you say, even though we got, everybody says our taxes are higher, but here's $790,000 investments. Do we have to go up each year? No, we don't, but we did that one year. We never went up, but then you fell a little bit behind, but we do have a very good cushion in the city of Good Thunder, which we didn't have 30 years ago.
Taxpayers.
Pardon?
The cushion came from the taxpayers.
That's right, absolutely.
So in the end result, I mean, I kind of see it this way, it's kind of like when you pay income tax and stuff. Some people like to get that big check back at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I kind of like to have my money in my hands so I can do with what I want to do with it.
All year long.
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, you kind of wash out of it.
break even, yeah.
And I mean, I'd say if I was gonna gauge what I think the city should do is you should be spending 90% of what you take in on taxes or whatever. And then if you're not spending that much, then taxes should go down because you don't need it apparently, you know? And that's why I say, I mean, I just have a real problem. And the one thing I have is, you know, Brett just built a new building and he's paying a lot of taxes on that building, you know, and just by virtue of the fact that it's a new building and stuff like that, it's just, I mean, you don't have to go very far to find somebody else that has a building like that that's paying half. You know, it's just, wow, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you talk about trying to bring business to town and stuff or whatever, and you stick $8,000 a year taxes on a building like that, and you're kind of trying to, you know, it's almost crushing to a certain point. You know,
We have to have a certain amount of money of the city's worth, right? Right now, I can't tell you what that is. But
Yeah, we just had that.
there's a ratio of what the city is worth we gotta have. But I'm sure
We're a couple hundred over that.
yeah, we probably gotta have at least $500,000.
Yeah.
You know,
We're supposed to have.
yeah. And again, you could take this money because it's the city's money and do some work with it there and not charge any more for it. You could take and run it for 4 or 5 years on this money and not raise any taxes and have it. So there's a lot of ways to look at it.
but like you say, potentially if there's all of a sudden a huge expense or something that has
Yeah.
to come.
That's the scary part.
That's what's in the back of our heads all the
That's what
time.
Nobody really knows, you know.
It's a crapshoot.
That's what we're trying to,
And I appreciate the fact that you guys are doing your due diligence as far as that goes, but I just wanted to kind of voice my opinion that I hope that that's happening. And I hope that it's a sound decision however it goes. Because
Right.
once the decision is made, it's our baby,
Yeah.
that's right,
you know,
that's right.
if that's the case, or if it's not made, then.
I hear you.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles to look at it. Yeah, it would be nice to have a community center so Brett with the young family could go down there in the middle of the winter, Saturday or Sunday or whatever. There's a lot of young families around. But again, at what cost?
Right.
You know, so,
I kind of go back to the school. I mean, you know, the first time the evaluations came out, and everybody got them, the truth and taxations came out, my phone started ringing, why are taxes going up? Well, did you look at your city tax? Mine went down $1. What'd yours do? It went up $5. You know, I mean, they like to have things until the bill comes,
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's true. A lot of people are that way.
you know? But anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, like you say, that's kind of why we came down, or I came down.
You'll come to any public meetings that we have and stand up and.
Well, like you say, it's nice that they're open again.
Yeah.
Hold them outside. You never know.
All righty. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Unfinished business? Do we have any?
I only have the question, I guess it's kind of unfinished business in the May expenditure guidelines on page 5. I just want to bring everybody's attention here that we paid out of the water fund. Was taken out of the water fund, the 341,541. And I see there was a new line item in there called government-wide water fund capital outlay 341,541. Bottom third, page
5.
5. $341.
This one right here.
I can't see from here. 341, 541. And the citywide,
Government wide. Yep.
government-wide. That's a new thing. Now, what are we supposed to do with that to make that? Because of course, right, when you get to the bottom, if I can make this work. You know, we spent in 2021, $372,000. We budgeted $72,000. We knew we were going to do this. Don't get me wrong. I get all that. I just mean, this is the question that we were going to ask Burkhardt this past month, is what are we supposed to do to make this work? Or do we just not? Or what do we do?
When I spoke with him, that's where the code he said to use. And he said, we'll clean it up at the 6th month.
We'll clean it up when?
Well, at the 6th month, at the half year review, when we do
Okay.
the mid-year.
So he'll allocate it maybe somehow, somewhere then?
Yeah, I think it'll get divided up to where he wants it then.
There will have to be resolutions made. When I talk to them, to take and do this, we would have to have resolutions to move monies around and put in there to make it viable. So,
Kennedy said that a lot of the city councils he goes to, on their agenda, they have resolutions. Just in case they have any resolutions, if they move money or whatever. Didn't he talk about that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
He said that it's kind of new that Burkhart's started requiring it like 5 years ago.
yeah,
So it's just getting in the habit of, if we're moving money, do it by resolution, so there's a trail.
so we might have to just add that to our agenda in the future.
Well, I can't make it come up here now, but I just was going to show on the May cash balance that we were able to pay that $341,000 out of the general fund.
yep,
And still have a little money left to operate on.
yep, there was plenty enough cash in it.
So that was quite an amazing. I mean, you look at that, that's pretty amazing for a city of our size to be able to do that and still float, you know?
But again, it's tax dollars.
I understand, but that's how we did.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
We did that.
Anybody else, any other town, the X amount of dollars we're talking about here, lining all these pipes and replacing that sewer down there, all
Everything.
that would have went for a bond.
And it all would have been engineered and all would have been.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
A lot more costly than what it is now.
instead of being 342, it'd have been 442, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, I think you've said it in the past too. You said, sometimes people say they pay their taxes and they just want to see something. They don't get to see stuff out of it. We take care of this stuff, but they don't really get
They
to
don't
see that. You know what I
no,
mean?
No,
So I think that's where in lies the problem sometimes.
because if you would go and bond for a project like that, that would be on top of the everyday taxes.
Yeah.
There would be a little line item there, 2035 bond payment, for the next 15 years. So all this here in all, yes, we still have cash, but we have no interest. We've not taken any monies and given for interest on our projects. And is it too much? Well, a few 100,000 may be too much, but yeah, I seen that too, that we could have paid for it. We had the cash,
Yeah.
and we will get Blue Earth County's monies that was collected in May and July, is it?
Yep.
And that's quite a large sum
That's a
too.
big, that's a big chunk, yeah.
It's a big chunk. So that general ledger will go up again by probably what, $185,000, maybe, just guessing?
Do we-
Maybe A or more?
Yeah.
We get LGA already?
Oh, well, I have not seen it come
I
through
was
yet.
gonna say, usually July we get
Yeah,
LGA.
I think it all comes
So-
in June, July.
Some of the money we're
Look at that.
spending is saving money too, because if we don't do these improvements, we were talking about having to add to the lagoon
Right.
because we couldn't handle this I&I, and we've been plugging away at this for 3 years and we're actually getting it under control.
Yeah, Severance said that they installed a new flow meter, maybe?
Yeah, you got that in there now?
Yep, they were down there Friday and Saturday, I think, doing it.
Okay.
So he won't know anything right away, but there's a whole calculation. He'll figure out the numbers and maybe the next meeting. he'll
It's awful
put it-
dry now, so we're not gonna know if our pipe did
That's
anything.
true.
Not a thing.
Plus the heat evaporated off the ponds. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's gonna show less.
But that's already been pumped through the meter, so.
So our water fund is right now $143,000 below, they're in the rears. But that's straightened up when,
So would we take it dollar for dollar when we do a resolution and pay back the $185,000 down there and all of the lining? Would we do it dollar for dollar or not?
no, I
Yes,
think so, because we had money in water fund, some of that,
Some of it's paid.
yeah,
Yeah.
got paid out of that,
So we could just pick $200,000 and pay that.
maybe. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't, if something were to happen, we would fix it anyway. It isn't like, you can't fix something because there isn't money in this line item. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just a way of keeping track of things.
So, yeah, I mean, still get with Burkhart. If we need a resolution, we'll have to determine a dollar amount next meeting and make the resolution for that, transfer that around and make it whole.
Yeah.
And again, you said before, 2-3 months ago, Tom, all you're doing is robbing from Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
It's already cash. It's already paid.
Yep.
You need, but it sounded like Burkhart wanted to make it a payback or, each fund is supposed to fund itself.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask about was, and I missed it before, but in general government's, so to speak, there was like a $9,000 office equipment charge. And I suppose that's for these tables and the new desks and all of that. That should be a future improvement expense, I think. That's why we put that money in future improvements.
Yeah,
And so just write that down as a note for Burkhart when you meet with them, that maybe they should look at that too.
okay.
Otherwise, why should we? That's the kind of a thing that does inflate taxes right there. If we don't use the fund as we say, it comes to the end of the year and then it's just laying here, and then we should watch that. That's what we should be doing. You know what I mean?
so will Burkhart, they'll be coming here this, I see
It
it
usually ends up being like August when he comes,
over,
like
um,
August and March.
We'll have our
we
budget
just
meeting
got their
before we-
bill and I think it was 12,000 and some odd dollars. And I found it strange that they don't bill us when they do that mid-year audit, they just kind of like run it all together and give you a credit back for that mid-year audit. With talking to him one day, he says, would you ever want quarterly audits? I just thought though, they'd want to get paid when they did all that work, but they just run it under that one bill. So is that something you think we'd ever need as a quarterly audit?
Not yet.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not unless they recommend it,
All right.
Or
By half a year audit, we have.
Yeah, but I mean, if he recommended that we do that, then, yeah.
And he did say other cities are doing that now. They are taking and checking halfway through the year, to make everything good. So I guess we're on the right track there.
Yeah,
Thank goodness we are.
Yep. So. All right.
Did you just kind of ignore me and
Well, I thought you said the same thing, Jay, was, okay, what?
Paulette Nelson wants to know, you and Jim and Ashley went up to the city park, last year and stuff, and she does down there. She stopped me one day and she says, do we have a beautification committee? Could we have one in Good Thunder? Because she'd like to be involved in that.
Well, she was it.
yeah, pretty much.
She was it for many years.
Yeah, but these guys did the ballpark or the city park up there last year.
Yeah,
And it looks really nice, but she wants to know if you could maybe have 5 people interested.
If she can find 5 people,
I agree.
You go for it.
absolutely.
We were just talking, why can't we have flowers on Main Street?
Well, that's
You
what
know,
she was getting at. She said, Mapleton's got tubs, why can't we? I seen them watering them in Mapleton when I was over there the other day. So
Yeah.
that was her question. If, Sarah, if you'll make contact with her, she didn't want to come to the meeting.
Okay.
We used to have them wooden flower pots on Main Street.
Had them half barrels laying all over, yeah.
I think there's only one left.
I think they were sponsored by
The
business.
next.
It could be, I don't remember who does, well, the Mother's Club was doing a lot of it too.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
Our next
That's
door
for sure.
neighbor is a welder and he quit his job and he jumped at the chance to weld them up for nothing, but you need to buy the legs to go on them.
On the equipment down there.
Yeah,
You know,
He said, I'll do it. I won't charge the city. You buy the metal and I'll do it. And he worked for Lindsay
Linder
Enterprise.
Enterprises.
And
just a
he's,
reminder.
he welded all day and put staircases all over the US. So,
We just need a floor, or like
We just have to
The
add 4
footprint.
foot. We have to add 4 foot to the post. The footprint's not as big a deal. We just had to add 4 feet to all the posts.
yeah,
Or
we
4 and
have
a
to
half.
figure out where it's gonna go to.
Yeah.
and-
Well, we've got satellite imagery and then I've got the dimensions that he
Well,
gave
let's
us.
do it.
But everyone's real busy and we just found out how little we were supposed to be doing.
okay.
We got in trouble for our military.
You didn't get in trouble. He just wanted us to know that in general,
Okay, he can
Don't
do
do
it
that.
by himself. He doesn't need anybody.
No, to erect it, put it up.
Oh,
And yeah, if you wanted to do that, we're more than happy to buy the metal, right?
Where would he do it?
he said
Well-
he can do it right out there where it's sitting. He's gonna take one of Robert's portable generators. He's got a welder.
Okay.
You know,
And he
you could do it
says he
right out
just-
there.
You buy the metal. He already measured it with his little thing. And he said he'd do that for the city. He thought it sounded like fun because he's not working right now and he's probably Brett's age. So he needs something.
That's okay with me.
Is there any young people
So-
with interest for beautifying, you know, is there?
I
is
don't
it-
know. When I have time, I love doing it because it just, you know,
You know, like Paulette has done it her whole life, you know, she is the person, but it don't seem like, well, I've said this many times, there's just no younger individuals step up to help out.
That's where they all work.
have we given her anything again this year yet?
This year we haven't.
We need to.
As long as they're not dead, I'm gonna say it, but my husband replanted the flowers that are out here. He likes to do it. He would probably help her. He's, disabled and retired, but planting flowers isn't hard on him, so.
Yeah.
I think she just wants to talk with some people.
Okay.
And
Maybe just write her number down for
she
me.
can come up with and
Okay.
So with that, if we found somebody in the next 30 days, would we have to give them an X amount of dollars to spend for the flowers? So we don't have to come back next month, well, we got somebody, we ain't getting any flowers, we ain't getting money.
most of us have flowers in our yards. All the flowers uptown are from Paulette's yard.
Really?
But I mean, do we have to set some money so they have something to work with? If you can find people to do it.
In
Park has got parks have,
Money.
future
budget.
improvement, yeah.
no, this is kind of, I would consider parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would think there'd be no problem.
Well, you're gonna need it for whatever you're putting under the playground equipment to your park money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's,
Well, I mean, the plants might come out of her yard, but we need the things to put the plants in.
We currently,
You know, like the
in
big pots and stuff.
parks, we currently have 15,000 in future improvements that we haven't touched.
But
So-
we got new bleachers.
Oh, yes, we have to, well, I haven't paid those yet.
We gotta be watching. We gotta
That's-
be watching that. Kind
True.
of,
and they were
at
what?
the end of the year, whatever we put in again and
Yeah.
got
Um,
$8,000.
Yeah.
It's $10,000 in bleachers.
Yeah, the bleachers were like $10,000.
But still, we can spend a few hundred on some pots.
And if we have that individual come and measure, put 4 feet on them poles, my iron is an all-time high right now too. You know, we might spend, what, $1,500,
I bet you spend at least that,
you know?
but that's okay. There's other,
Because we got it for nothing and it's sitting down there, so.
Yeah.
it would be in everybody's good interest to get it fixed up
Mm-hmm.
and get it moved to town and,
Yep, get the legs on there and maybe this fall we can still get it in the ground then.
yep.
I talked to him today and he'll start on it right away if he can get the metal here. And when you get a chance to move it, you can move it. You do the go ahead.
Sounds like a good deal.
I guess he just needs to, I know, they'd all have to be 4-foot frost footings, right? The poles?
Mm-hmm.
So he just needs to measure up a quantity he needs, get it. He can go and I'm happy to let him go and let her go, let her rip.
Do you bill it to the city then? Will they, Minnesota Iron bill to the city?
I don't know.
Oh,
They should, any of them
I
should.
think so.
I would think they would.
I would think so. I mean, what the heck, yeah.
Like you said, we don't pay taxes.
Does the city have a credit card yet?
Mhm.
So I guess we do have a credit card in case that wouldn't work, you know, to
They
get
can
down
call the
there.
city.
Is Minnesota Iron like the place?
Minnesota Iron and Metal.
So if I call them tomorrow and set up an account and then he. can
Either
go
that
in
or
and-
just say if an individual come and got $1,500 worth of pipe, will you just bill us?
Robert, is your place in Iowa cheaper?
Not that little bit of amount.
I'll call
Got
them.
something else?
Call them.
Tasha wants an outside meter like I've got. Have you brought that up yet?
No.
And I asked Robert to look in the shop to see if he could find her one, because I would think you'd have some left. He can locate it, so Tasha is willing to pay for one so she can get the garden hose hooked up. Like I have.
We have
I might get one.
zero
too.
new meters and we have, I can't find any old
Used ones.
used meters, so. Do you know who the meter company is?
Yes.
So should we order a dozen?
Cause the old meters, like the one you have, our system doesn't read those anymore. So I think you have to like write.
No, we had to read them by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You have to walk up to them.
yep. So I'm just saying, if we get new ones, then we get ones that the system reads or same as the old ones and they just have to.
I would think you'd only want the ones you read by hand because you already read it coming into the house.
Right.
You're just deducting what that went through that meter, so there's no sewage.
Yeah, so you're not gonna end up, you know, you,
I thought
Have
he
a
said he
dozen.
had meters. I thought he said he like a half a dozen new meters.
They're supposed to be 6 to 10 meters somewhere up there.
New
Yes,
or used?
new.
Really?
Yep, because when people were having issues, we ordered a bunch.
let's have to look for them again.
Yeah.
And I think we should get some of those outdoor ones, because you were talking about that too, to me today, so.
I mean, the reading
I would
ones
get
with the
one.
computer are very high priced. If we just got the old kind manual read ones for these water meters for gardens, it'd be cheaper for the end of
Oh,
it.
yeah, they're probably $100 a piece maybe.
I wonder if they left a bunch of those around when they changed, because I still have my old one sitting in my basement.
I know he was scrapping them out one time and I can't, but I didn't look on that shelf in the lean-to very hard. Maybe there is some there. Can take a look in there.
Yeah. We'll
So,
just Ask Brian.
I suggested when he switched them out, because I already had mine by then. I says you should have a box of them set aside of the ones like mine. So when people want to do this, you've got them here. And he says, well, I did put some aside. Robert said he couldn't find them.
So we'll just-
and maybe they're on the top shelf. I didn't get up there, but we can look tomorrow.
Can I do one more thing and then we'll shut up?
Sure.
I heard a complaint about these vehicles on the street. Somebody almost rear-ended a trailer here.
Okay.
And she was very upset and she was trying to get a hold of Robert. I think she did. But
I told her it was the county road to call the sheriff.
Yep, I agree.
And it sat there
Can
too
we
long.
get-
It sat
can
there
we-
longer than our ordinance say.
Can we get that no parking out here?
County has to do it.
Yep.
I
We talked
called
about that.
Chad Wilde probably 2 weeks ago now and told him the issues we were having. And his words were it had to go to engineering and he'd call me back on the number that I called on. I said, that'd be fine. That's 2 weeks ago.
No, touch. Maybe you can call.
Did you touch base with that owner of that trailer to tell him he could park it up there?
No, if I seen him outside, I was gonna offer him a spot up in my lot. Backed in off there, you know, just to be, so he can have it, but yet not be sitting by the park or on this road.
Yeah.
And maybe that's all it would take,
It's wide too.
so.
No. Corner house.
That one's actually a corner house. When the other big one was out there, that was,
It was parked over here, but he told me to get it off his lot because he wouldn't move it and mow around it and stuff, so.
Okay.
So,
And one day they were both,
Well, we have an ordinance against trailers on the road.
it was sitting facing the wrong way over by the house, facing this way. And it sat there all morning. And then with the other one on the opposite side, it was really narrow there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I called the county. The county hasn't ever gotten back. So do you call them again or do you contact the individual and offer him a spot to put it?
I think if you offer him a spot, he'll put it up there and I'll get it off the street and take care of it.
it's only there because his daughter
But
backed
I-
into it. so.
Personally, as a taxpayer, I'd like to see it no parking at least on one side because it gets really tight.
Especially since they like made the road smaller.
No, this has always been that narrow.
Oh,
But
it's just
again,
that intersection there if you don't park there too.
we'll see what the county comes up with.
Maybe they'll make one side of it no parking.
All right, anything else?
Of course.
Are you still
All I
taking?
gotta do is drive around town there and figure it out. The ballpark hasn't been sprayed yet. Anybody gonna spray it or should I go do it tomorrow?
For
The line
weeds,
fence of the thing with weeds, with weed killer and stuff. I sprayed Summer Roberts today and my weed patch.
I don't think we should get into spraying because you're supposed to be licensed, right?
Cause what?
Or not?
You're not using a restricted, you're not using a
WD.
restricted spray, are you?
Just Roundup, that's good enough.
Yeah, you can buy it at anywhere.
You're not using that
Home Depot, you can buy that at Home Depot, right?
40, is that what it's called?
240, yeah.
240. As long as you're not using that, I think you're
I
okay.
mean, it's not a restricted spray. I mean, like a farmer would use, they got different stuff they use,
should we have Bob do it?
Well, somebody's got to take the responsibility of mixing the ratio right, you know? I did find the sprayer up there.
I was asking you about spraying parks the other day too, you know?
And it is up there. It's there. I don't know if the lawnmower has capabilities of turning it off and on, you know, when you're turning around, if that was been wired for it, I don't know.
That seems like that might be a long way out. She's offering to do it tomorrow.
True story.
And you don't need a license if you're spraying not restricted spray.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if I can go down and buy whatever spray you're using without a license, you should be able to spray it.
Let her rip.
We'll let Robert mix it up.
No, I'm
No.
not taking a no.
No, I figured out.
Then we have to post it.
If a little is good, a lot's better.
Yeah.
That's the way I mix it.
It burns as soon as it hits it.
I like it
It's smoking.
smoke when I'm done. Anything else?
Robert, are you still
All right.
taking?
Anything else from you guys? All right.
Robert,
New business, we did the,
Maureen, are you? Hold
I'm
on,
trying to.
1 second,
Can you-
Maureen, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is it okay if I talk?
yep,
Okay. Ashley, I'm wondering, if you were able to share, the information on the 850 Hiller property that I sent you with the council?
I have not, from your email today about the,
I didn't send it today. I sent it, I think, I don't know, Friday or Saturday,
I got
Maybe-
one on.
or maybe on Sunday. I sent it yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep,
So just yesterday, and she doesn't work on Mondays, so.
Okay, and I assumed that Brian was going to be at the meeting tonight, so he is aware of the issue, not that it's an issue, but maybe Ashley, if you can maybe copy my email and let the council read it so that they understand what took place over at the 850 Hiller property that George and I own.
yep.
Okay. And then have you been able to find out any information yet on the small city improvement grant information that I had requested?
I'll get the Let me double.
Turn that up.
Turn it up. Let me. That one. Let me go in my office, Maureen, quick, and let me look at the folder.
While she's doing that, I had overheard that Judd Schultz did some kind of an inspection. Was that on a rental property in town?
It was on the future well site property that the city obtained.
Okay,
So he's just doing like a
Sure.
walkthrough for us.
sure. Is there a specific council person that oversees the rental permits in town?
No, they just come into me usually, and we go through the list. And we send them out to the people that are supposed to renew them and then wait to hear back from Judd and Mariah if they have, went through that process and the inspections and stuff like that.
Okay, so currently are all the homes that are being rented in Good Thunder have permits?
No,
Why is that?
they either haven't turned them back in or haven't, reached out to Judd. I guess would be, or they just, I couldn't tell you why people do the things they do.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering, why some of us that have rental property are required to do, to follow the rules and other people aren't. I guess I'm being a multi-property owner of rental property. I am required to have rental license on all of them. The only one I'm not required is my home out here because I'm out of city limits.
Yep.
And it's just been, people are talking again and it was brought to my attention and I'm not going to bring up names. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I am just questioning why some of us are required to have these and others are not.
Yep.
And I will leave it at that.
Yep. Yeah, Judd actually mentioned that to me today.
Okay.
So it was left at that he would reach out to the property owners again to see, and he'll be sending them a letter.
Okay, my other question is are council members aware of these property owners that don't have rental license?
I don't think they are. I don't think they have.
Judd Schultz.
I don't honestly think that they know all the rental properties in town. It's not something that I've inquired about, but I can definitely make them aware of who has it and who should have it and doesn't have it.
Okay, like I said, I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I just want make sure that everybody is being treated the same,
Yep.
regardless of who we are, that we're being treated the same. Okay, I'll
Yep.
leave that at that.
Yep.
And then what did you find out on the small city improvement grant information?
Yep, so I will send you over the paperwork from everybody, or the paperwork for it. Currently, there is not, because there was an amount pre-approved for somebody, but they haven't done the work, so I'll follow up with them and see if they plan to do the work. If they don't plan to do it, then there'll be $5,000 sitting in there, but as of right now, there is not. But I can still send you those paperwork and stuff, so you have it for reference.
Okay, so that paperwork that you're gonna send over to me, does that have all the regulations on the requirements for this grant?
Yeah, it should. Yep.
And
Okay.
Judd talked to us today about the future grant programs. What did he say about that?
And then, so a few years ago, we had that grant program through HUD. And MVAC is talking about bringing it back here. They are a year out, so it could be a year or two, but he's waiting to hear about that. So when that comes out again, that will be opened up to everybody, and that's that $25,000 for your property, as long as it's your homestead property and it's forgiven after 10 years.
Okay, so none of these grants qualify for rental property. Correct.
That,
Or
no,
does,
that Judd actually has a rental improvement grant going out there.
okay,
I can get more information on that too. And I think it's not the same guidelines because it will be for rental properties, but I can get that information from him too and get it over to you if you would like.
okay, that'd be great.
Yep.
I'm just curious, is one of the stipulations in the regulations for this, improvement grant, since it's on homes that have to be occupied by the homeowner, do people, if somebody owns back property taxes on a property, would they be disqualified for that?
I think they would, wouldn't they?
I think
In our program, they had to be current.
They had to be current and all that.
Okay, because I'm questioning why someone currently that received that grant money has had, at the time that money was approved, owed back taxes to Blue Earth County.
I don't know.
I would say because we probably didn't look to see if their taxes were current when we approved it.
How long ago was that?
That was the one we just approved, I think in early this year.
So is that something you can retract from the homeowner?
Because they answer the question if they're current. So I guess we must have just taken them at face value that it was current.
Okay, well, I can tell you
I don't know who we're talking
from
about.
experience of this individual that I'm talking about, I'm not going to throw under the bus here again.
Do you have an address?
I do.
That'd be helpful, wouldn't it?
210 South Ewing Street. It might be paid now, but it was not paid at the time the grant money was issued to that homeowner.
Okay, well, yeah, I would think if they misrepresented that form, that could be retracted, right?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Well, look at all the misrepresentation we had on the other one.
True story.
Business loan. That was 100%. Well, that was significant misrepresentation
Yeah, they're very true.
and nothing. We went up and down every which way we could, and there was nothing we could get back. Remember?
Right.
Yeah, you're very true there.
It's very, very disappointing to see that, you know, people that really could use this money get it and it's used for the proper things. But then I find out that this individual who is notorious for not paying bills actually owes me a lot of money, receives grant money, and it's irritating. And when I can go online and get public record and it's in black and white online, it's in the Maple River Messenger, and this individual still gets the money. I don't get it. It's very frustrating.
I guess we could talk with our attorney about it is all we could do. And then we could learn from him and make sure that we do a tax search in the future,
Yes.
you know?
All we can do is learn from it.
I mean, we can definitely ask Kennedy what we can do.
Okay, that would be great. I have a suggestion too, if I may. Just wondering if maybe if the city would consider putting up some kind of like digital sign, you know, something that can be seen both ways coming in and going out on Main Street regarding things taking place with the city, because what I'm finding out is not everybody gets the messenger. Not everybody has a computer to go online like I am right now doing this with you. And people aren't getting out people aren't getting information. And we can't just sit back and expect people to know what's going on in the community when they don't have access to it. So I was thinking maybe, you know, now that the gas station is going to be opening soon, which is the best thing that's probably ever happened to this city. If maybe something could be put down there, or maybe I would even consider putting it up on my property on Main Street. And then maybe it could be ran from City Hall with, you know, like something digital stating, you know, the city celebration, the small grant programs, you know, just things that are going on so that people could see it that way.
I think oh, sorry, Maureen. I think Mapleton has one too, don't
They
they?
do.
Yep, they do. I
And
know
it's
they're pretty
wonderful. You can
have to
see
look
it.
at
It's very bright. It's an awesome thing. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the city controls that.
That we'd have to check into it because we're on a county road. When you have LED signs and stuff like that, they're regulated by the state and the county. A friend of mine has a business on a state road, and he was told he had to shut his sign down because it was too bright and too distractive. And even the time frame of the message was too close together and it caused distraction. So we would have to certainly check on the rules on a county road. I know it's
Sure.
main.
We sure look into it though.
Yeah, we can look into
Yeah.
it.
You know, that's an idea.
I know they're very expensive because I actually looked into it myself, you know, to advertise for my store and then do some other things on there. But I just thought maybe I'd run it by the city, just as an idea, because boy, they really get people's attention. And then I got to thinking too, you know, for the city to maybe get paid back for buying a sign like that, they could maybe rent it for, like, if somebody wanted to pay the city to advertise someone's birthday on a specific date, or somebody that's having an anniversary, or,
Sell advertising.
So advertising, yeah.
you know, yeah, sell it, you know, and just for $20, you can put your kid's birthday up there, or, you know, just a way for the city to bring income back to pay for it. But again, if the county or the state's not going to let us do it, I guess, I mean, I get that, but I guess it would be worth looking into.
We can do that.
Let's see. And, you know, and even with like the city celebration, I just don't think people are getting the information. I mean, on what's going on for the event. You know, when I was up at my store the other day, like I told Ashley the other day, you know, I got stopped and people just weren't aware of really what was going on other than the sign being down on the corner. And there's really nothing about the celebration other than the date on the website. People don't know when events are taking place, what's taking place, what day. Again, something like that could be put on a digital sign. It's just a thought.
Have you checked the website recently? Because we're looking at it right now and there is quite a few things on there that, like, say the
Yeah.
band on and.
Yep, the bands are on there. The one that a mother and daughter questioned me about was kids events. And I asked her, you know, how old her daughter, or I asked him how old the daughter was, and she told me, and I said, well, they do have the Miss Good Thunder pageant taking place, and Ashley did some digging and she couldn't find it either that was posted, but I remember seeing it in the Maple River Messenger.
Yeah.
Like the May 27th edition. But it stated on there that the deadline for any young lady to apply for that was June 1st, which was a 4-day notice.
Deadline on that, didn't we?
There was a deadline, but it's been extended because no one applied. But I agree that there is more things that need to be updated onto that, the 150th on the
Okay.
website for sure.
Yeah, because we are having, there's gonna be some events for the kids that's gonna be free. So
Yeah.
you make sure that that's on there.
Yeah, that would be great, and I don't know if maybe, I don't know how else, I guess, to get it out. Because we just can't always assume that everybody is getting the information. I mean, as much as I hate Facebook, I know stuff gets on Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody gets a subscription to the Maple River Messenger. Not everybody has a computer to go on to see the Good Thunder city website for information. I mean, it's probably a small percentage of people, but it is a percentage of people. So I don't know if we can maybe come up with some other kind of ideas to get things out to them. Maybe, I don't know, on a postcard or something cheap that could be mailed to them, or I don't know. It's an idea.
We're
We
having
do
a meeting on-
quarterly newsletters in our water bills,
Yeah.
to our local residents, but it doesn't do the outlying. And yes, it is a way of promoting for the town, If the town don't promote itself, nobody's gonna do it for us.
Yeah.
It's a very good idea. I don't know what kind of dollars you think a sign like that would be.
Oh, it's gonna be in the thousands. Yeah, I mean, the one I was looking at for my store was a double-sided, so it could be seen, both east and west. And it was like around $6,000, and that wasn't even to have it installed or hooked up. So I backed out of it because obviously I'm a business that's not open year round, and I just could not justify spending that kind of money, especially with being closed all last year. And I just thought that I don't know where else we could put it if the state or if the county isn't going to let us put it anywhere on Main Street where the main travel is. I guess I don't. And
Well,
then,
We'll find out.
yeah, that'd be great.
I think you would spend 8 to 10 grand because I checked on one, or Jason did, for just gas prices. It was like
Oh, yeah.
$800.
Yeah.
It's a very high price thing to have, but yeah, we need to promote ourselves. It's just the bottom line.
Mhm.
Everything is good ideas.
When do we-
Okay.
When's the last letter? That was for cleanup days, wasn't it?
Mhm.
When does the next one go out?
Probably
After July.
July, yeah.
Okay.
And we have a very small committee that's even putting this thing on, just so you know, there's only about 4 or 5 people on the committee trying to do all of this.
Have you tried to reach out for help for community? Because I haven't seen anything on it.
It's probably been mostly on Facebook, of course.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
and
get
again-
and we'll talk about how to advertise for it better.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the radio too. But,
Well, I mean, I think Marina's asking about volunteers to help
oh, yeah.
to it. So I mean, if
I
you're.
mean, have you requested volunteers? Has there anything been put out there saying, hey, there's only 5 of us on the committee right now. We could use 5 more. Anybody interested? And I think that by doing it that way, you're showing that you want community involvement, except for just having, 5 people that are always involved in everything. Give everybody else a chance to participate or offer. I know for a fact, just through my experience with people I know in town, they don't feel like they would even, be accepted into a committee or something like this. And that's sad because, I look back years ago when my kids were little, when there was Pioneer Indian Days, and they had committees. I was on the committee for a couple years. And, you designate, you do this, and that's how things get done. But if the community isn't going to be asked to participate, then, it's just going to be the select few that are running everything.
Is the meeting open to the public?
Meetings are open.
Meetings
You're welcome
are
to
open.
volunteer and bring everyone with you if you like.
What date, time, date? The next meeting,
And the next one is Monday.
next Monday?
Yeah.
1 o'clock?
I don't remember.
Did I put it in my?
Well, if it's on a business day in the middle of the day, that's gonna be hard to get any young couples or any young people to do it because they work. I mean, could it be something in, an evening and then give them a little bit of notice? I'm not saying you're gonna get anybody lined up at the door. I'm just saying give the community an opportunity or a chance to offer their assistance or, or maybe they won't want to help, but maybe they have some ideas that the committee could take and use. Just an idea. I'm not coming down on anybody. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. And, I talk to a lot of people because I'm up at my store a lot and people stop in, they say hi, they talk to me. And I just keep telling people, get a hold of the city. That's what they're for. Contact them. I'm not getting in the middle of this, but there was just a few things I thought I could bring to your attention, and that's why I'm on here tonight.
All righty. Well, yeah, maybe the committee members could have a later meeting, I'm
It
sure
just-
you're gonna be having one a week here for a while.
It just worked out for some of the people that came up with this possibility. It worked out better for their businesses to do it at that time. So I missed a lot of meetings because I worked and now I'm able to go because it's summertime. So it's just kind of a crapshoot. We'll have to talk about it on Monday and see what we can figure out.
And show some interest. I mean, post that thing and tell them you're looking for volunteers and, everybody's welcome. Promote it, push it, whatever it takes.
Yep.
Can we look into a rental sign? Just as long as we're looking into a sign, just look into a rental sign one,
I don't even know if you can get them anymore.
maybe not.
Like open, how 4x8 or whatever.
Yeah, you just on a trailer.
Yeah, I called down to A to Z and them. No, they don't have them anymore.
Oh.
Yep. So where you see them at a gas station or something, I don't know where they come from. They must come out of the cities.
Maybe,
There isn't nothing local.
maybe that sign would be more beneficial than, most people have their Casota Stone sign instead of having that says Good Thunder. We spend that money on a LED sign or something. I don't know.
But it has to be somewheres where it's going through town because
Mhm.
one on that end isn't gonna do it no good. One on 10 going east isn't gonna do it because you got 3 entries into town. So
Yeah.
then if you take 3 times 10, that's $30,000 for sign. So if you could hang it on Main Street somewhere, I mean, would it ever be feasible to put it on the side of the fire station? But again, somebody slows down to look at it, to read it,
It's a safety issue.
could be a traffic issue.
Well, let's just look into it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's all I, can ask for at this point, because I know that there's lots of regulations and we have to follow them. So I get that.
I know once I had my building built, there would be a nice top area there where they could just drive in and look at it and, oh, maybe I should get a pop.
Um, Robert, when do you anticipate being open? Like, I mean, I know the gas is open, but like the store part and whatnot.
2022.
We didn't hire a general contractor because I'm sure it would have been $100,000 expenditure. And we're doing it, Jason's doing a lot of it on his own. I found out you can't even put the sewer pipes in unless it's okayed by the state of Minnesota. Well, that's been up there now for 2 weeks probably. So as soon as the pipes, the state okays it, we'll be putting the sewer in and we already notified the cement man. We want to make it happen fast because we had the refrigeration people down there the other day. They measured everything up for refrigeration, I would love to say Labor Day weekend, but I know that won't be possible. I just hope we can make it by the 1st of October,
Mm-hmm.
So-
Well, it's gonna be.
We're not worried about the apartments on the top. We just, Brett's got to do them to finish the building, but just so we get that store open, provide a service.
Yeah.
Sure.
Be good.
So and
Okay.
then it'll lead to the next issue, help.
Yeah.
What you gonna pay per hour?
I guess I'm curious, while we're on this topic, I'm curious, the old DeLugie property, is that gonna be part of the gas station too, or?
The
What's
city
going
owns
on?
that now. That's a future well site property.
Oh, the city is purchasing that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We have no other area for another well if we ever had one, or if we needed to put up another water tower. There's nothing that would work in this area here, so
Mm-hmm.
Brian Beck will come up with that last summer, that would maybe make a good area for, expansion of our water services if needed.
So your intent are to tear the house down?
No,
We don't
Or
know.
move it.
No, it would get moved to a different location.
Okay.
It's in too good of condition, in my opinion, and the inspector's opinion, to tear it down. We would just have to find a lot to move it to.
Okay.
Well, you have a lot of good ideas there, Maureen. We'll see if any of
Okay.
we can make work, and we need to get better on our screening of our dollars too. So we'll take all that under advisement.
Perfect. I appreciate it. And then Ashley, if you can just share that email with the council so they know what's going on.
Yeah, we got her. Got
You bet.
Yep, I printed it out while you were talking.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's all I had then, guys. Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? And I forgot all about that. We have people here we haven't had
I
for a long
know.
time. I forgot about that. Anybody else send in community comment?
You have a community comment that was emailed to us.
Yeah, down on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know if
Alright.
you want to cover it now or
Do we get it? Did I get it?
probably.
yeah, everybody, I just had it here a minute ago.
Yeah, you might have not got it.
I'm like, I don't think I have it.
Today or what?
Oh,
I was gonna bring it up. Here it is right here.
Yeah, it was in the packet.
Wasn't in the electronic.
Yeah.
don't worry, Tom, we'll get you one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys. Good work.
I'll bring them with me. Give everybody else double their
Okay. Have we ever received a complaint about that?
It's pretty much got it
How do we
down.
do something about, I mean,
I
what,
can find my goddamn ordinance book.
I walked by there. I guess I don't know.
The property itself is cleaned up.
Well, that'd be-
but, Vicky just talked to the person to
A lot of it is noise because Robert's talked to him.
plays music.
Well, not this one, the one next door.
No
It's right across the street.
noise ordinance in Good Thunder.
Yeah.
The sheriff.
After 10 o'clock,
And
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's always been one after
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
because
he bitches about.
League's house
time 'cause
that live there now,
music Going all.
have had the sheriff's called out on them
That's
for
what-
noise after.
thing is.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
this here is-
had a noise ordinance, didn't we?
Yeah.
I talked to,
I remember that.
It's been in effect for a long time, just like curfew is 10 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah.
No curfews.
Get a 9:30.
Yeah, the Boones County superseded that.
So
so
Well, I'm wondering why this person hasn't ever contacted us and told us this, you know what I mean?
well,
That would be helpful for us to keep doing it. That's too bad.
if you would just go down that street to the east from this individual lives and you go to the second stop sign and you look to the left, they totally missed cleanup days. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had to live next to that, I would be calling this city council every day.
Oh, I know. I would too.
And then if you go down on Ron Street and you work your way south on his street, on his side, you have the same thing down there. Now, is this here enough to warrant us to send them letters month after month or week after week until they literally get it picked up?
well,
They've gotten letters already.
Yeah, but
that was, you sent out letters for nuisance property?
We sent out grass.
just grass.
Ones.
Yeah, so that didn't apply to the
no,
junk on the yard.
yes, yeah.
So that, they should get going.
Because we were gonna wait till after cleanup days to do nuisance letters and then we just haven't went
Oh,
up.
no, we need, well, and then we talked to the sheriff one time and he said we don't have enough in our ordinances for him to enforce, right? Didn't he say that?
He
Do
wanted,
they need
I
to be
think he wanted
updated?
us to tell him what we wanted
right,
enforced.
and this, so that then he can look at them and decide whether or not they're enforceable.
We'll just have to talk to him
Well,
and go drive around and, and send people letters.
I mean, those two properties are just off the top of my head. I mean, I wouldn't want to live by them. I mean, there's another resident that told me probably 5 weeks ago that he goes, I'll probably be moving out too, because I'm just sick of living by it.
Yeah.
And he's been a lifelong resident here.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, we live next to that, you know, with the property up the road by the church here, that guy has got now and is finally cleaning up. You know, that was a disaster for so long and the ladies across the street hated it. It's such a process. It's such a, they make it so difficult, but
we don't want people sending this on their way out of town.
no, why not tell us before they get to that?
Well,
I don't know. That's too bad.
she has a very difficult neighbor there. It's just like the same individual drives constantly on a revoked license.
Uh-huh. Call it in.
They can't do anything about it though.
That's not our problem.
No, I know it isn't, but
That's a different-
it's the same caliber of a
And
problem.
then they get called in and they
Yeah,
pay their fees and keep on doing it.
So, I mean,
it's so hard. Like you said, Sarah, it's so hard. They make it so difficult to do. If it was easy, every other community would have it done. But I can't remember the community and I don't want to mention it anyway, but there was a bad house on the way into town and a bad house on the way out of town. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the way
I know.
In between.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
so would we ever have to get in with Kyle and, or
Landon.
now and say, okay, tell us how to write up this.
Yeah, so we
How
can
do
make
we
it
write
enforceable.
this up that you can take and come down here and say, you got to pick all this stuff up? Is that a food for thought process?
I think so.
I mean,
I'd be willing to meet with them
I gotta believe if our attorney can't write it, how can they?
because maybe they've seen so many of them, they know which ones have the better teeth. Make it enforceable.
It sounds like it's a problem to enforce it.
Yeah.
Well, like
Everywhere.
Mapleton spent
Thousands.
thousands of dollars.
yeah, there's either Mapleton or Amboy's got a problem right now. They're trying to get people
Just
picked
as
up.
bad as it was.
So it's a money pit.
So if you,
This is a rental property though.
if you just have the sheriff stop by and say, you know, we've had a few of the neighbors complaining about all your stuff laying out and leave it at that. Is that a start or initiative to maybe push?
I don't think it is for these people we're talking about.
I'm not sure.
Right?
I'm not afraid of that.
Okay.
And that, when the last time they got a letter, they couldn't figure out what was wrong.
Well, you say you gotta take pictures for one thing, so when they do come in here, you can go, here's it, here,
And,
this has to leave.
and with the
You
yard,
got tires laying up against the fence that don't fit nothing, there's junk.
And then,
And that's against state ordinance due to the
So it just,
whole
yeah, it just,
mosquito issue.
then we got these people now that are taking their yards and turning them into nature things and they're not mowing the lawn.
I seen that today on, I almost said the wrong term, Skyline.
Yeah,
There's like a lawn up there that's full of milkweed.
yep. And that's a noxious weed.
Yep.
So they should be able to go in and spray that.
Milkweed
Were
is?
they doing a no mow,
Milkweed
no
is a noxious weed. Just
May?
In
It's probably
Skyline,
yeah.
the no mow May for the bees for pollination.
May's
and
over.
stuff. I understand.
I mean, Stacy said we have that parsnip in the ditch behind, like,
So it's harder to
by
do.
the feral gas facility.
Yeah.
Threw the dog toy over there and went and got it. And he said he thinks there's parsnip.
It's technically, Robert is our
You're the
weed guy.
Yeah.
However, you are not a horticulturist, so how do you know what is a noxious weed and what is not?
Right.
I recall that being a thing before, so it's hard because people don't think dandelions are noxious weeds, you know? They don't think the ones that you blow when they go everywhere are noxious
Do
weeds.
you know that back in the day, it was a sign of wealth? People planted dandelions in their yard.
Boy, the
If you
city's
had a-
rich and with the
If
park.
you had a yellow lawn, you were having it.
Wow.
I know. We have a lot of clover in our backyard and my sister-in-law doesn't want me to mow it because she doesn't want me to kill the bees.
So to address this letter right here, would we just have Ashley type up a letter stating to whoever wants to drive around and send them a letter and say, the neighbors are not happy with the way you're keeping your yards. Just to
Well,
start
We
something.
gotta send out nuisance letters based on city verbiage.
Yeah, and we have to say,
Right.
and
Yeah, I don't
put in there that,
do that.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's gotta
you send
say
out a
that-
Nuisance letter and say solid waste, but list what it is, because solid waste, we don't know what that is, but.
and a nuisance is it takes away from the enjoyment and value of other
Right.
people's property, so.
You're devaluing other people's property. They don't want to look at it when they drive by every day. There's
We
a
can't
whole
say
array of
that, but-
Stuff.
I know. Those don't fit.
The best thing we can do, I think, is what you're saying, Jim, is get out there, get the pictures taken, get what the address is, get the letters written.
Yep.
Send them out.
Yep.
And maybe even just put a picture there and circle.
And through
Highlight
the
and
process,
list
it
what's
takes a year and they don't have to do anything.
That's correct.
And if they start by picking up a couple things, you start the whole process.
Yep.
But at least you've done something.
Right.
At least we can say to people that we're doing our part.
If we just look at this letter and say, oh, yeah, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
At least we tried, you know?
I mean, I feel bad that they're letting us know now and didn't tell us sooner that it was this big of a problem. But
And there's another, like I said, an individual block south that said the same thing. He's sick of it and he might be moving. So,
well, then if more people write us complaints, that gives us more just cause for the sheriff's department to go talk to them, really. But we can send them letters based upon our ordinance.
Now, I do think that we ought to send this copy to Chris. So he can put it in his file. And when somebody will fight this, our letter that we
Yeah.
send out, they're gonna fight it,
Yeah.
At least he'll have, this is why we're doing this.
so if you took all these pictures and you emailed them down to Chris and he looks at it and you get his backing and say, yes, this is very, well, I don't know if it'd be unhealthy, but it's
You won't do it.
He's,
taking the value away from the neighbors.
I don't think he'll do that. He's gonna go, he's gonna go, I gotta review the ordinance to see whether or not you can do this and do that.
That's why when you send them the ordinance, at least they can review it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at least you'll have that.
send a copy of whatever
I do.
they are in violation of, yeah. Like,
But we do have nuisance ordinances and we do have things in there that we can call out and spell out that are wrong, and that's what we gotta go for.
I mean, every time we do it, it does help a few.
It does.
Not all of them, but it helps a few. So that's why you should just get that
Well, sometimes it's
state letters out
contagious.
and see what happens.
My neighbor was doing stuff in her yard and
No.
we were like, crap, we gotta do stuff in our yard. You know what I mean? It's kind of contagious. But
Well, let's get some pictures, send them out and go from there and see what happens. We're making an effort.
Sarah and I will make a mission, I guess, again. We can
Yeah.
do that. That's fine with
Can
me.
happen in the next couple of days, so make her work.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, because that way there you can have the letters.
I'll take a break from graduation preparation.
If Ron knows the addresses, just give them to the girls too, because.
It won't take us long.
Got it already from
Same
last,
ones, yeah.
No, I'll go
same ones every day.
half an hour. 45 minutes usually.
All right.
So with our city maintenance guy being done, or however we're wording this, bathrooms and trash stuff needs to be checked daily still. Do you want me going to checking the bathrooms and cleaning them in the meantime until you guys decide what you're gonna do?
I think that's what we ought to get Ken on board to do.
You've been kind of doing that already.
Did
haven't
you say you had a job?
I think he does, but maybe he doesn't. I've been doing the trashes Thursday of every week and getting 6 or 7 full bags of trashes from the parks and the
Oh my
bathrooms and
God.
stuff.
Well, just because with ball games and stuff, you have to, they
I
have to check and
suppose.
clean them.
The shelter up here gets half a full one, of trash and dog bags.
I don't put my dog.
Main Street, the 2 in front of the bar and the gas station are almost full every week, So, and then half a bag here and half a bag there.
Well, if we contact Kent and he doesn't or isn't able to help out, is that something we want Ashley to do until we get an individual? I mean, we're gonna meet Thursday night. And if you could decide Thursday night and offer to a job and they accepted, it would be at least the 1st of July before we have somebody on board, right?
2 weeks, yeah.
Yep.
Probably.
We're
Possibly.
gonna have to keep doing what we're doing and volunteer in the way we've been doing it, even though we're not supposed to.
Yeah.
We got stuff to do,
So
right?
I guess if Kent doesn't, can't, yeah, I guess if you're willing to do it, I guess that's the way it'd have to be.
Don't have a choice. Somebody's got to do it. Gotta
And-
keep bathrooms.
But you gotta have a list of stuff you want him to do too. You can't just say, do whatever you wanna do, we need a list of
Yeah.
daily items to do. Or weekly or whatever.
I mean, Vicky, she trimmed down the hedge down there. It looks really good because it was up above the whole
Really?
platform. So it looks kind of sparse now because she took all the leafage off of it,
Yeah.
but at least you can see it. It just looked like an overgrown mess. And then
Should've been
she went
trimmed
down
this
and trimmed
spring.
some of the trees up too, so you can see in underneath there better now. So I had 2 guys trimmed the trees down to the ballpark because they're rubbing on our concession stand. They trimmed some
Oh,
trees and
yeah.
Jim trimmed some branches over here. So they got some of that stuff done, Myself, I'd like to send them out again and cut all that dirt and sod away from them curbs that need to be painted. Because if they're sitting there painted now and half on, half off, are we gonna paint them yellow so they're all one color again? Or are you gonna let it deteriorate for the next 5 years and go back to bare cement?
The city bought a brand new sprayer.
Yeah,
too, for
it's up
that.
there. Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's brand new last year, so it should.
Vicky?
I forgot to tell you that after the celebration, it's recommended that what I read up on lilac bushes, your hedge down there, seeing it's gotten totally out of control. It says to cut it down to 6 inches and then it'll take 3 years for it to get back to blooming. And I'm willing to do it. And I'm sure Robert will send his boys up to help me load it up and get rid of it. But that way you'll get it down where it's manageable and it's supposed to be trimmed twice a year. Right after it blossoms and once in the fall.
It probably has a lot of better regrowth, it's
6
all to the
inches?
top
There's
now.
a lot of little stuff underneath.
So I guess read up on it and make sure that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it seems short. It
It seems awful short,
does.
I read the article that night.
so.
I reached out to a couple different people too. Well, I reached out to Liz Miller on Main Street first to give me some ideas because she is an art teacher at MSU. And she got me in contact with a couple people about getting the resin fixed on that
Oh,
sign
yeah.
down there without wrecking the mural inside of it. So there's a couple people that will be reaching out, seeing if they can volunteer, seeing if they can fix it, if there's a way to fix it.
Are they gonna fix?
The Gary Fay mural, the
Yeah.
sign painting about fixing the resin in it, because it's bowed, so
It's bowed really bad.
Yeah, but it's solid. Me and Brian checked that out here last summer, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's solid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Solid.
gonna fall out.
It's
Yeah.
cracked.
it's cracked pretty bad though on
Yeah.
both sides, so they just about getting it fixed or something.
We actually looked at trying to do that years ago and there was nobody
Yeah, and that's when you
available.
learned that Gary passed or whatever.
Yeah.
So just couple things,
Okay.
either way. But it's out there.
All right, so you're gonna take pictures, send letters, and
But we need to approve the letters. I mean, that's a council action.
we could do that Thursday night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, as long as
Okay.
as long as you post it along with the other, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that.
We don't want people moving out of town because their neighbors can't clean up the crap,
No, we don't. That stinks.
So. All right, are we under miscellaneous yet?
Sure.
I believe so. We got the community feedback. Anybody else? We had a few recommendations from Chris tonight, so Sarah and I will probably bring some stuff for the next regular scheduled council meeting. So. Anything else? Anybody? And I guess, you know, you heard from other people, if you can open that committee up and get more volunteers, the more the merrier, I guess, so, you
Yeah,
know.
everybody's welcome to help. I don't want to be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? Don't want to be doing it. They're doing it for the city.
Yeah, the people that are doing it because no one else does it, so it's doing it. Everybody's welcome to help. I'm there on my day off doing it, so it's, it's
Is it all just on Facebook?
a lot
mean-
of, it's on Facebook. I'll give you guys just so you know, I'll give you the quick like rundown of what's going on. So Friday, the baseball, the youth clinic, which you guys know about. So Twins game or Twins clinic on Friday. Then there is the cornhole tournament Friday night at 5:30. Coronation. If we get people to run, right now we only have 2 junior Miss Good Thunders running. We don't have anybody for Miss Good Thunder. The band, 7:00, and then there will be Pounding Thunder, which is a pounding nail game. That will be out there, but will be brought in before dark because they don't want people drinking and swinging hammers around.
And this ad is in the Blue Earth County.
This ad is in the Blue Earth County Fair flyer. It's a half-page ad in there. And then there will be a 1.5 flashback stroll up through the city park. So that's at 9 a.m. Candy bar bingo will be at the bell tower. There'll be the sign painting also will be at the bell tower from 10 to 4. There's going to be the vendors and crafters and all the people that will be down on Front Street, kind of in front of Kellen's house. Yep, thank you. 4:00, the grand parade, which will go down Main, across over to Hauk, up Sherman, all the way up to Minor. So the big loop. And then the band at 8 p.m. On Saturday night. We also have on Saturday, we have AJ's Onion Rings will be here. Jersey's Sweet Spot, Bummy's Barbecue, Lakeside Lemonade, TNT Eats, and Lep's Take Me Out, which is Thai cuisine, will be there for food. Friday at the baseball game, they're gonna open the concession stand and they'll have walking tacos, sloppy joes, and hot dogs, roller dogs or whatever. And it'll be basically a sloppy joe, a bag of chips, and a bottled water or soda or whatever for $3. So pretty cheap for the families down there, just so it's open. I'm trying to think, Sarah, what else is happening? Oh, the marching band will be here. That's
Oh,
exciting.
yeah.
So for the parade, we're getting, signups are still coming in for that. So we had a deadline, but they're still coming in. And honestly, even day of, if people are like, I want to be in it, we'll throw them in there just so
Yep.
it's big.
Is the cornhole tournament on your flyer there, Ash?
The core.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
I just didn't remember.
I think so, but
Jason promotes that pretty good with his following. I mean, he'll have the teams all coming to do that already.
yeah. So yeah, the guy doing the cornhole tournament, he takes care of everything. So that's all him. We're working on buttons. We're working on getting prizes for buttons.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a pain in the butt, but with it being the 150th, we wanted buttons, so
Yeah.
we're gonna make them. We're working on prizes, even if it's a few big prizes like a raffle, you get a set of cornhole boards or you get a grill or whatever. But
Yeah.
we're trying to make that work, so. I think that's it for the events of that day.
But you got 5 people that are working very hard to make something happen.
And really the Makers Fair, I think is gonna have a lot of really good vendors too. I think there's 15 or 20
I think so.
vendors, all different vendors. So I think it'll go over well. And we spoke with Jenny at the restaurant, she did not want to have a food truck. So that's kind of why the food trucks are there, so less put on her. So if people want to go in to eat, they of course can, but we just.
Yeah, she's gonna do like a deal thing. She's helping out a lot. And we wanted to make sure we didn't have any trucks that were like, had the same things that she has and stuff. So
So,
it's a good group of people.
but yes, always welcome to have more people help.
Yeah.
So.
All righty. Anything else? 4 hours we've been here, sir.
I know. I need a sandwich. My head hurts.
Sandwich.
So as far as getting some work done, continuing on like we have to get it done?
Yep.
Okay,
And check with Ken.
Yeah.
all righty.
Ken, do you want to reach out since your personnel committee? And then if
We
that
already
is,
talked to him.
I did, but it's been 5 weeks ago, probably at least, or 4.
And then
That
do
was
you-
5 at least.
you probably need to establish a wage, we pay,
I guess look back what he got when he was here last time. He was kind of an interim guy that time. And he'd probably be happy at that. He must have been
Or
at
a
least
little
a $13 to $15 hour guy back then, I think, wasn't he?
I don't know.
What was that?
What Kent would have got paid when he helped out
Oh,
last time?
as far as him, oh, yeah, I would,
I think it might have been 15, but
How much?
I think it might have been 15 then, but even if it's 20 now, we need the help.
I was gonna say, we can make it a little more because it's been a few years.
I mean, that has to be what, 3, 4 years ago that he helped out?
more than that,
Or more than that?
for me,
I don't want to be a jerk, but don't pay.
before I got on the council.
I get paid now. come on.
Sure has a list of things to
He
do.
was the one that found the water leak down there on the east side of Peggy Nielsen's property.
Yeah.
Because he was mowing down there and he said the property is soaking wet. He's the one that found that
Yeah.
that time.
Right.
I'll tell you in 1 second if I can get it to open.
So that'd have to be what, 5, 6 years ago already?
He was on the council yet then, I think, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
It probably was, yeah.
We can do that on Thursday. With the amount.
Yeah,
You want to talk to him since you talked to him?
yeah,
already?
I'll ask him again. So, well, with
You
that,
know what it entails too, so.
then, is somebody in favor of making a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I want a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. Thanks, everyone.